Hi, everybody. I'm Joe.
I'm Derrick.
And I'm Matt.
And we are the host of
Beats, Balls, and Bourbon,
the Groove Machine official video podcast for Lou City supporters. This is a momentous day today, episode 11, which turned out to be episode 11 because we had one last week out of nowhere. But this is momentous because this is the first time that we are off of Facebook. And we are now on Twitch TV, and this is where we plan on being for a very, very long time. I'm going to let Derrick tell us all about Twitch TV and all the things that we're going to be offering soon.
So Twitch TV they have rules, which is, rules are okay. There are certain things that we can't do, which I won't mention, but they're definitely things that we haven't done in the past. So, no surprises.
Wait, almost. There was one time Matt said a word that surprised the heck out of us.
We can curse. We can cuss. Cussing is no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We can drink as long as none of us fall over and harm ourselves. That is a big deal.
That's important.
And I don't think that any of you guys have ever collapsed.
I'm going to try not to fall over.
Hey, it was the first time for everything.
There you go.
Yeah, nobody's collapsed in my apartment and broken anything, so that's good.
Thank you, Jorge. You're a saint.
Yes.
Twitch has been very kind to me over the years. I was a Twitch streamer for a couple of years. I did a few 24-hour streams for charity. I used to stream Darkest Dungeon and had a pretty decent following. Had a good time doing that. I used to sit up all night and I would drink lots of fluids and I would eat. I would just eat all night and play Darkest Dungeon, and it was fun.
Okay.
Hey, I looked like a zombie by the end, but hey. So we're going to have lots of interactivity. Right now we do not, and the reason that we do not have any interactivity is that we are not affiliates.
Right.
So we have to meet a certain, quota on Twitch for affiliation. So anytime you hit the follow button, that is super important for us.
Okay.
Because we have to have a certain amount of followers. We have to stream for a consecutive amount of days. We have to have a certain amount of hours. There's all kinds of things that revolve around this affiliation program. So if you hit that follow button, it does us a huge favor. That's all we're really asking. All you got to do is one click. In the future, hopefully the very near future, we will have Amazon Prime subscriptions. And if you are already an Amazon Prime member, you can come into the stream and you can hit the subscribe button. And now, granted, that's not there yet, like I said, but once that happens, you can hit subscribe. It's totally free. It helps the stream out and it'll help us get more cool stuff.
Right.
So there you go.
And we'll thank Derrick for setting this up. Getting off Facebook is definitely a good thing because now you don't have to be on Facebook to watch us live.
Yeah.
We're still going to upload for now the videos of this show to YouTube. We also have an audio version that we put up every Friday night, usually posted by Saturday morning. That ends up on iTunes, and also a couple of other, just subscribing to the podcast thing. We use FeedPress and loads it up in a bunch of different things.
Yep.
And
Twitch, by the way.
You can watch the full broadcast, I believe, within 10 or 15 minutes after we end the stream. So
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's pretty excellent. So anyway.
And if you subscribe, we promise not to have long sponsor pledge breaks.
No, that won't happen. Who's going to be crazy enough to sponsor us anyway? I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right?
But anyway, Derrick, how are you?
I'm doing real good. I'm doing real good now that we've got
busy.
this going on.
That's good.
I'm very pleased.
I'm glad that you did all that work. Derrick has been on several times already, doing testing. So thank you for that, Matthew. Didn't mean to interrupt you drinking. How are you?
I've started off the night drinking an unknown liquor directly out of the bottle.
There you go.
That's the kind of week I'm having. How are you, Joe?
I'm tired.
I've heard. Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I've been in work every night for the last 3 nights, and we're having some issues trying to get a new server set up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get through this, though. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. Before we go on, let's thank our guests from last week. Davina Vowels was here 2 weeks ago with Rebecca Tamas and Katie McWhorter, who's getting married next Friday. Looking forward to that. Also, we had an impromptu show last week. Once again, these are on YouTube, so you can go back and look at them. We had Mike Watts from ESPN on here last Thursday. It was really good. He gave us a lot of insight on where we stand, he thinks, in USL as far as in the conference and the playoffs coming up.
Had a lot of kind words to say about the stadium too.
Yes, he did have a lot of good things to say about the stadium.
That stadium.
Right.
And they're doing more stuff to it.
Today, I was mentioning earlier, today was the first day that they cut the grass.
Was it really?
Yeah. So imagine the smell.
The smell of cut grass over the soccer field.
And the allergies from the Ohio River.
And also, I want to make sure that we're pushing the other podcasts and the radio show. Soccer City Radio is on Saturdays at 9 a.m., usually 9 a.m.
They are on location this week at Molly Malone's Highlands.
Oh, there you go. So go to Molly's if you want, Saturday morning, if you want to check that out before going out to St. Louis, maybe. Also, you have Barrel Proof Podcast, which is on Tuesdays.
Yep.
In the House, who did a very good interview this week with Luke Spencer, which dropped.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a very good interview. Luke's a very, very interesting guy. He's a good dude. Final Judgment, I think, is still around.
Supposedly.
I guess. Hopefully those guys.
Jordan, Jay,
Jay,
okay?
What's going on? Podcast Luchador every now and then as well. So hopefully you're checking those out. Today we have a pretty cool group of folks here. Dave Walkovic, who is we call the Ticket Man. He's over here, and hi, Ticket Man. How you doing? He's going to be on.
Yeah.
Like we said, I mean, all the work that he does, we figured that he really deserved a chance to say hello to everybody. I mean,
could we refer to him as the Ticket Master?
The Ticket Man, Ticket Master.
Or is that offensive?
Is that good? Is that okay? Okay. Well, he'll tell us. Dave's going to tell us what he thinks we should call him. Aaron Leibson's going to be here later, and Mike Baldwin is already here hanging out with us, one of our capos. We do have a lot of great guests lined up in the future as well. Let me talk for a minute before we go on about Harbor House. As you know, we've kicked off a fundraiser a couple of weeks ago for that. We already have 9 registered runners for that event. We're going to be that for the mini marathon. A bunch of other people have already said that they're going to commit. So we're not 9 down, 91 to go. I'm hoping we can get 100 people. So
awesome.
That's so far so good with that.
Am I included in the 9?
No, you haven't registered yet.
Okay, I need to register.
So you need to register. Go to I did put a tutorial video out there that you can check out. It'll take you through all the steps, and it looks like it works perfectly. Just have to follow it. Just go through it step by step, and you'll see exactly how to join the team, and all the instructions and all the usual information that we've been giving out about. You don't have to worry. You don't have to run it. You could walk it. There's no set time to do any of this stuff. And what we're expecting from everybody, but it looks like it's going to be a really big event. Hopefully, you'll be a part of that, either as a member, as a participant, or you can also just donate to somebody if you choose to do that as well. We do want to mention on November 17th, we're going to be having a meeting at Saints. Our race ambassador, who happens to be a Louisville City supporter, he is going to we're going to have a meeting. He's going to tell us all about the event for people that have never done it before. We're going to get together at noon on Sunday, November 17th. We'll be sending that out. And then also we'll probably go walk someplace after that. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Yes. And also with that, please keep in mind, January 18th is going to be a really big day. We're going to be doing this vodcast from Harbor House. We're lining up a bunch of great guests for that. It's going to be a really cool event. Also, Halloween party, the 25th. You guys going?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Come on, man.
I'm sorry, man. I just,
You need to calm down.
Music will be from DJ.
DJ?
That would be me.
DJ Jazzy Joe? DJ Jazzy Joe?
Yes, DJ Jazzy Joe. That's it. Also, get ready for the Christmas party. But we'll be running the vodcast live from there as well. We got some really good ideas with that. And for those of us that may be going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to the St. Louis game yet. Really depends on work, and it's just been crazy. But we're hoping to interview a bunch of people because we're coming up to the very last game at Slugger Field.
Yep.
And we want to get your thoughts and introspections and your feelings about what it's been like the last 5 years going to Slugger. We want to put a big old thing together and then put it out. Hopefully, maybe next week if we get enough time, if not soon afterwards. And
I know some of the Luligans have some thoughts on our field too.
I bet.
Mitch, Matt, Brad, you want to come
everybody?
talk?
Yeah.
So, anyway, it is now time. Uncle Luigi has taken some time off.
Has he?
Yeah, because
he's in hiding.
He's in hiding
from the law.
Yes, he's still hiding from the law, and also there was no way he was going to write anything about the game last week. We can do this anyway.
We'll do it live.
Okay. So anyway, we have a little list here. We want to make people feel better. Here, I'll leave this running in case. I'm going to leave it running in case you get a little bit of a whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, still running. Anyway, So we thought about what we wanted to talk about, things that make us happier, right? So, naming a few things that would make us happy thinking about to get our minds off of what happened last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that makes me happy, no matter what's going on in life, anywhere, kittens. I love kittens. Right? Kittens are very cool. They make you smile. Don't kittens make you smile?
Everybody always defaults to kittens.
I like kittens. No, you don't like that?
I like hedgehogs. Can we do hedgehogs or something?
Hedgehogs are fine. You can say hedgehogs. What is there a particular pet or animal that makes you smile? Tarantula.
Ferrets.
Ferrets.
Because they're devious little bastards.
They are devious little bastards. Yes, they are. Ferrets are definitely that. I'll tell you something else that makes me happy. When I think about it, is my mom's spaghetti and meatballs. I like my mom's spaghetti and meatballs. She's up there in age and she doesn't make it as much anymore, but boy, oh boy. Food will definitely take my mind off of what happened last Saturday.
Something has to.
Yes, something has to. How about driving? Do you guys like to drive?
I mean, I have to enjoy it.
Well, you don't have to enjoy it. You have to endure it. But
Okay.
is there any particular place that you like to drive?
West Virginia.
Mountain Mama?
That's right. Take me
Take
home.
me
Take you home. Country road.
Okay, remember, copyrighted.
That's okay. We're speaking. We can speak the word. We're not singing it.
Okay.
We can speak the word.
Yes. What about you, man? Any place you particularly like to? I've driven a lot through the Northwest. I really
I like driving up to Chicago through that endless wind farm.
Yes.
That is cool.
By the.
Yeah.
I really like that as well. The Jersey Shore is a particular place that I love that takes my mind off of all bad things. The New Jersey coast. We call it the shore. We call it going down the shore. I don't know if you all have it. There's no shore in Indiana or Kentucky. I mean,
There is, but it's on a
rivers.
dirty river.
Yeah,
The shores of the Ohio.
Lake Cumberland, right? They have little
I suppose so.
beachy type places, right? So, also, I like breakfast at Cracker Barrel.
You would.
I do. I love Cracker. I mean, they've got like pancakes. Tell me that. Like, if you're hanging out and you're like, man, everything's making me sad from that game last week. Pancakes, right? I think pancakes make me smile.
No doubt.
Also, I like the fall. Anytime I think of the fall's cool. I like the fall. What's your favorite season?
Fall.
Matthew?
Soccer season.
He doesn't do that often.
There's the regular season and the off season. I like the regular. The postseason's pretty good too, but I like the regular season.
Okay. Thinking about the new stadium. See, we all agree on that
Pretty
one.
hot. I saw the curved roof panels going on. Somebody
Yeah.
posted that. That looked pretty sweet.
We're going to be talking a little bit more about this later, but you know what makes me smile? Takes my mind off of bad things. Peanut butter cups.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I like peanut butter cups. They make
Yeah.
me happy. So what we need you to do is if you go to our hashtag, which I think is over there.
It's over there.
Oh, it's over there?
It's floating right up there.
Okay, all right. So if you go to our hashtag, 3B Podcast, go ahead and give us a couple of examples of things that make you smile, that take you off, take your mind off of whatever happened last Saturday. And I'm kind of done talking.
Pie.
Ooh. Okay.
I've been waiting to do that.
Well, the speakers work. Everything works.
Not anymore.
I thought
So-
my eardrums left the building.
Things that take my mind. Things that take my mind off of what happened last week. My eardrum's bleeding.
Yep.
There you go. So
And how about this? Now that it's been returned to its rightful home
yes.
after being thoughtlessly stolen by some ne'er-do-wells in St. Louis.
Well, we still.
They actually stole it?
They stole it, yeah.
Who would steal a cup?
A bunch of
They would.
hooligans.
I guess they would.
Hooligans from
Hooligans.
St. Louis.
St. Louligans. Yeah.
Those hooligans. But anyway, so hopefully you've done something to take your mind off of whatever that happened at the end of that game last week, and I have absolutely nothing I need to say about it. Are we good? It's up to
I
you.
think
I mean,
we're
you
good.
can if you want. I don't.
Matt, you
I
got
don't even
anything
wanna
that
mention
makes
it
you
all.
happy?
Yeah, give us something that makes you happy, Matt.
The meteoric collapse of Cincinnati this year.
Oh,
That was pretty awful. They set a record of some sort, right?
Yep, most goals allowed.
Most
ever.
goal allowed ever in MLS.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come on,
that's
Derek, give us a couple.
bad.
Bask in the Schadenfreude.
Jesus. You have a couple?
I've been very fortunate this week to be talking to someone that I've really enjoyed talking to.
Okay.
and I'll just say that they're about 5'2", and that makes me happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you talk on the phone and have to give a credit card number first?
No.
Okay, wow. Okay, this could be something real then.
But I like 2 to 2.5 hour
Do
conversations.
they have money in a bank account in Ethiopia?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But two very long phone conversations over 2
Good,
hours
man.
long. I feel like I'm 18 years old.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Good for you. There's nothing like young love.
I hope you and Muggsy Bogues are very happy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There you go.
Muggsy could dunk.
I know.
He could
I don't
dunk.
know how or why, but he could.
No.
I think we're ready to move on.
I think we should.
Let's do it.
Dave, would you like to come up for a little bit? Dave Walkovic, ladies and gentlemen,
Let's-
is our, I believe he's the in charge. There's a title that comes with tickets. The Ticket Master. And like I said, it's been, we've had a lot of the folks on from the front office, and I've yet to hear you on any of these shows. And you deserve a shot at this because, you do a lot of work. Everybody talks fondly of you and the amount that you do. So welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
man.
Yeah, this is the first podcast I've been on with Lou City.
That's
so
because we
I'm
love
excited.
everybody.
Yeah.
Those guys, they're selective.
They want to talk about
They're
the
so-
actual sport of
They
the
have,
people playing.
yeah,
exactly.
they talk about the games and stuff like that. We talk about the important stuff, the tickets.
Glenn is so mean.
What did
know.
Glenn do? Did Glenn?
He's so mean.
Glenn, that's a shaking
Yeah.
finger. Okay.
So in fairness, Evan Floyd tried to get me on last year, and we just had our daughter, so timing didn't work.
Yeah.
Then Evan got hired, to the front office, so all of
Okay.
a sudden it wasn't that cool to have a front office person anymore when he was hosting. So anyways,
Well,
appreciate you guys.
Welcome. First thing we always do is ask everybody a little bit about themselves before they joined up here or before you became an employee, I guess,
Sure.
of the team.
Sure. So, Joe, you know this. I grew up in Philadelphia,
Yep.
so Northeast. Went to Penn State. It was right.
And we still get along. By the way.
Yeah, unbelievable. So I, right after school at Penn State, I immediately moved to Florida. To be honest, Joe, I was just done with the snow.
Yeah,
I
I
just
hear
couldn't
that.
do it anymore.
That's-
Moved to Florida right out of college, 21, and worked in minor league baseball. And I did that for 4 years. And I know you guys had Mike Watts on last week. That's
Yeah.
what I did. I was a radio guy.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh, you have a voice for it. Now
Yeah.
you're saying that. You definitely do have the voice for it.
So this is, I haven't done this in a long time.
So when
It used to be
they
normal.
kick me out of here, you can take
I'll
over.
just come right in.
Right,
Perfect.
right.
So I did radio play-by-play for a minor league baseball team down there in Florida.
Okay.
They're a Brewers affiliate, and
All right.
during the day, how minor league baseball works is you kind of do everything.
Right.
So during the day, I would sell tickets. At night, I would call the games, and I did that for a few years. Then just decided, let's just do tickets. Did that for a couple of years in Florida, and sent in a resume to Amanda Duffy about 4 years ago already.
She's okay.
Yeah, and
She's not bad.
She's okay.
the rest is history, as they say.
All right, so you've got to have a good minor league baseball story because everybody has a good minor league baseball
Oh,
story.
there's some good stuff. I don't know if you guys are baseball fans, but I worked for the Cubs for a year,
Okay.
and they had Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, like all the
Oh,
guys,
wow.
all the guys that won the World Series a couple years ago, all on the
Yeah.
same team in Single A. So,
Really?
yeah, it was unreal. I saw Baez hit 3 homers. I saw Jorge Soler run at a guy with a bat. He got hit by a There's some good stuff. But my favorite one is, and this is on YouTube actually, we had our an intern that did the music,
Okay.
and he played 3 Blind Mice one time when the ump made a bad call.
Or they
I
throw
do
it
remember that. And he got
turns around
fired.
and throws him
I
out.
saw
He threw
that.
him
They
out of the
threw him
game.
out of the game.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I
it was-
saw that video.
Oh, no,
didn't know they
that's
could
my
even
best
do
one.
that.
I don't think they can, but he did.
That's
so,
amazing.
Yeah, that's my best story.
That is great. I have seen that on YouTube. Now that you're saying that.
Who's the guy? There's a manager for a minor league team that is known for his epic meltdowns, and I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up later. We'll have to post it on Twitter or something. But there's clips of him crawling
Oh,
to the
yeah.
pitcher's mound,
It's a Braves
and,
guy. I
and
don't know
mock
his name.
throwing
Yep.
grenades and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Too funny.
Okay, so Amanda gives you a shout and says, "Come on up."
Yep.
Yeah, I'm assuming you'd never been in the area before. Maybe you'd visited, but you'd never. Certainly never
Yeah.
lived up here.
No, so my wife's from Northeast Indiana, a little
Okay.
town called Gas City. And so we were thinking about, we just got married. We were thinking about those kids in the future. Maybe now it is a reality. And so we wanted to get closer to home. And
Right.
so I love baseball, trust me, but 80 games at home a year, that's a lot of games.
Right.
So
That is a lot.
I loved soccer. It made a lot of sense. At the time, it was 15 home games a year, if you guys remember that.
Oh, yeah.
That sounded really nice.
Right.
So it all made sense.
Wow. And I guess your first, always ask everybody too, the first couple days on the job, your first impression. Now, you've had experience several of the people that we've had on the show, they like Lance and people like that had never worked in this type of environment before. I guess you have some experience in working with a smaller group, so you're kind of probably a little ready for it, or
yeah, it was interesting because I thought at the time that it was going to be a lot bigger operation just based on the numbers I saw, attendance year one and all that stuff.
A lot of people assume that, yeah.
And I walk in, it's like 7 people,
right.
And I was like, this is crazy, like this, that they're accomplishing this with this small staff. Now since then we've grown a lot,
right.
But it was unbelievable. It really was walking in.
And I guess you're working your first season. What's your official title, by the way?
So it's changed a bunch. So right now it's ticket operations manager, okay. and the focus is getting ready for the new stadium. Is kind of what I focus on the right. operations side.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and your official when you come in, you're just that role. What role are you fulfilling when you're here? When you first come on?
Back then it was ticket sales manager, and it was basically the job I have now plus the job
minus the title
plus the job that 2 or 3 other people do now, which is good. So I basically did everything I do now plus run the ticket staff from top to bottom.
Okay.
And again, I knew I was walking into a great situation just based on the attendance numbers and everything that I talked about with Amanda. But when I got here and I saw how excited, I mean, think about Northeast guy, don't know a ton about Louisville or right. It's Kentucky, right? How
right.
powerful could soccer be in the area?
Right.
And I was just blown away.
Yeah,
absolutely blown away.
Well, we've been talking. One of the things I learned on this show is that there's been the youth soccer out here has been very strong for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
Which out east it's been there forever.
Right.
I mean, if you how old are you again?
28.
Okay, so you don't remember the old NESL, but you grew up in Philly. There's plenty of youth soccer going on the whole area. And I wasn't aware that it was as prevalent out here because there's plenty of leagues out there. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And what got you into watching soccer initially?
The World Cup, Donovan's gold. I had followed it a little bit, but just fell in love with that team and that run. And funny story. So I started playing FIFA, all this stuff you do, right? It was the year that Blackpool was up in the Premier League, and I fell in love with the Tangerine kids. And so I'm like, yeah, Blackpool's going to be my team, right? My club. Of course, they relegated like 3 years in a row. So they're back to League One, and that's where I'm at right now.
That's cool. But you stuck with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a lot of conversation about over time. Everybody's talking about supporting a team in the United States that strictly based on the level that they're at. I'm only going to be a fan of a team, and I've heard this plenty of times. I'm only going to support my team if they're in Division One, MLS, whatever it's called, which is dumb. And once again, you're talking about. Well, let me back up a little bit. The minor league teams that you worked with. Talk about the support of those teams and the fans themselves, because you have to be. It's a little different than soccer. Those guys are really looking to advance, and there's a much bigger system. Not so much here. So what is it like getting behind players, and what kind of events do they do, and are they intertwined in the community as much?
Not really in the baseball world, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It's because they're here. If they're good, they're not going to be here very long.
Right.
So the biases of the world, the guys we talked about earlier, they might be in Melbourne, Florida for 3 months, and it's really hard. And we've had our fair share of turnover. If you think about it, over the 5 years, it's 10 times worse than minor baseball. So it's really hard to find that fan-player interaction.
Right. And so do you see, I know you're not so much involved. I know you're doing the ticket thing, but as far as events, attractions, do you see any similarity as far as what we try and do with the soccer team that you would see in minor league baseball? Is it fairly similar?
It can be, but I think our approach is very different. I mean, we, minor baseball is very gimmicky, and the beer nights are cool. Right. Sometimes I wish we did that.
Yes, they are.
But it's very much. It's not about the game. It's about the promotion that's going on, and the difference is we have a good product that people care about just on the field. And so a lot of times
they could care less about the events.
Absolutely. Right. So a lot of times it's come watch this really good soccer team win the league.
Right.
Again,
exactly. So now, as far as the ticketing is concerned, integrating whatever system you use to purchase the tickets, make sure the funds get into the right. Are you involved? I'm assuming you're involved in that. Pretty integrated stuff, or pretty intense stuff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, fortunately, I know you guys are looking for sponsors. Call SeatGeek. They sponsor like everything.
Okay.
So SeatGeek's been awesome. It's been a good transition. not to say Glittner wasn't back when we had Glittner, but it's a lot of setup. And fortunately, it's like once you get everything set up and all the legwork you put into it, it's pretty seamless from there. Of course, you always have stuff that goes wrong, but in overall implementation, it's pretty easy from there.
Okay. How much staff do you have working for you?
Okay, so we have 4 full-time sales folks. We have a new hire, which is a fan services person. So basically, a person dedicated to customer service.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll expand the staff. But we have myself, and then a bunch of interns running around, which is cool because we get to see them kind of grow in a short amount of time. So I'd say overall, it's 6-7 full-timers and interns.
Okay, and then I guess how many hours a week are they taking phone calls for? I mean, I want to lead into tickets for this, for the new stadium and so on.
Absolutely.
I'm going to assume you're going to brag on them a little bit because it sounds like a lot of work. I mean, and we talked about this before. I mean, I can't imagine that always being fun because you're always going to get that off person. It's like, I want my tickets in section 194. We don't have a 194. Well, build it.
I love all the fans, but the folks that didn't have season tickets this year and then are like, why can't I get front row on the aisle in the field? Guys, come on.
Yeah, come on now. Exactly.
Because I have that.
Yeah,
right. So well, talk a little bit. I mean, how are we doing as far as, I know I've seen we have several sections sold out.
Yep.
Do we have a number? Last number we heard was about 5,000.
Yeah, so that's the number I can say. It's over 5,000. I'm sure we'll make another announcement, but that's what I can say.
Wait, I think I have $2 in my pocket. Let's wait a second. If I'll get $2 in a shot of booze. No, I'm kidding.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is the fans have been incredible. There's a lot of hard work that goes into leading up to this point to get people to convert to season tickets in the years past. Fortunately, we have a good base like you guys. Like, no matter what we do, you guys are buying season tickets probably. So there's been a lot of work to this point, but once we went on sale to people who had already had season tickets, I mean, they just bought them. All we had to do was get them on sale, right?
Yeah,
so
that's pretty awesome.
It was unbelievable. There was only that process took a while because we did it. Everybody got into the portal, and it was every few minutes somebody get in, so it took like a month. But if you saw some of the numbers of like, okay, 100 people were in today, and we sold 400 season tickets, like that's unreal. Like crazy stuff was happening. And then, not to go too far off track, but the only other days I can remember that are like that were the championship game last year at Lynn, where we went on sale and like season ticket holders bought as many tickets as they could. We went on sale, 2 days later to the general public, and you blink and the tickets are gone. Like it was crazy to be a part of.
Right. It's got to be a lot easier too, because this. Well, tell the advantages of being in our own facility versus having to manage, buying tickets at Slugger.
I mean, it's huge. I mean, just the obvious is we don't have to work around the bat schedule. You know?
Right.
So if we want to host a game on Thunder, we can try and work the league to do that. If we want to not host a game on Thunder but host an event, we can try and work the league to do that.
How crazy would that be if we hosted a game on Thunder?
Yeah,
it would be a sellout. I mean, no doubt that'd be a sellout.
And who knows what will happen? And it doesn't have to be the same every year. But the way it worked previously was we would give the league like 20 dates or whatever the number was because that's all we had, and we're like, pick 17 of them, so now there's some more flexibility on that. Of course, tons of new revenue streams you think about, new possibilities there. So from a growth perspective of the club and long-term stability, it's huge. And of course, it's a brand new state-of-the-art facility, so we want to show it off to everybody in Kentucky.
And I guess I know some people have been asking about ticketing options. I mean, for me, I've already bought mine, so I have one ticket. I'm going to stand the whole damn game. But what'll be newer this year? Is there anything newer as far as ticket purchasing options versus what we had to deal with in the past?
Sure. So a lot of it's TBD, and the reason it is because if season tickets sell out.
That's true.
That's
good point.
That's pretty much all we have. So the big thing that we are,
which would not be a bad. That's a good problem to have. If you're an owner, that's great.
Yeah, great problem to have. But we want to make sure that people who can't afford season tickets or maybe just cannot make it to all the games, we don't want to shut them out completely. So we have a number that we're going to sell season tickets. That doesn't mean it's a capacity number.
Right.
And the reason you do that is a few things. But on a business side, one, it's the right thing to do. You don't want to shut people out. But two, it's how do you grow your fan base if the same 11,300 people can come to the game.
That's true.
And
That's a good point.
So,
That's absolutely good
so that goes into it, and it's a lot of math and Excel from there.
I guess would they consider, this is like, it sounds like a dumb question, but probably, let me think about it. Would they consider playing games in Louisville outside of that stadium? Because, I mean, like, let's say a U.S. Open game comes along.
Sure.
And going to Lynn isn't so much just a game in Louisville as it is going to Louisville University's stadium and playing a game.
Right.
I mean, is that something that they would even consider? I mean, I'm spitballing. I mean, maybe
Sure.
not. I have no idea. It just seems like there's the reason I got cued on that was what you're talking about made something a lot of sense. If you have 11,000 seats and the same 11,000 people are going to the games, who are you reaching?
Right.
You're reaching 11,000 people. It's not growing as far as reaching out into the community and digging into getting more people. So is that something that?
I would say never say never on any of this
Right.
stuff, but I think it truly depends on situation. So, I don't want to go into hypotheticals.
See, I want to get you to commit to say something.
Yeah.
So Brad Estes.
Yeah, exactly.
So when Brad Estes, I just wanted to say Brad's name. I'm sorry.
All good. Sure. I mean, never say never, right?
Yeah.
You never know what situation's going to happen. We've obviously played at Lynn before, played at Slugger, played at Bellarmine for a game. So you never know what's going to happen. But I think now that we have our own stadium,
Sure, you're going to, of course, it's the
probably
revenue,
we're
right?
playing there, if not every game. Almost
Right. I
every
mean, and then you're talking about friendlies and stuff like that as well. If we've had several of the ownership group on, and they've talked about events beyond soccer games.
Mm-hmm.
Ticketing options for that as well. Will it still be the exact same method? Will you still go through SeatGeek, just like you were buying a ticket for a game?
Yeah, most likely, yes. A lot of that stuff's to be determined.
Right.
I'm sure the ownership groups talked about concerts and other possibly even sporting events. Most likely you'll go through SeatGeek. I know for a fact one of the benefits of being a season ticket member is, say a big concert comes to the stadium.
Right.
You'll get in a pre-sale. So if you have season tickets to the city and your favorite band comes to town and they're going to play at Lynn Family Stadium, you'll be able to buy tickets before anybody else.
See, that's
Derrick, you can finally see the Backstreet Boys.
Only if they're there with NSYNC and 98 Degrees.
right.
Of course.
You can finally see them
What
as
about New Kids on the Block?
you can finally,
Yeah.
You can finally see them as opposed to just dreaming about them and dancing around here when nobody's watching.
Well, yeah, I mean, the poster's on the back of my door, so it's like,
Jeez. I got to get that image out of my mind. Okay. But yeah, that mentioned something too. I'm wondering if they do a season ticket package or whatever, where that there's certain events going on, maybe they would include those at the same time or something. That's what I'm saying is that all this talk about events that I'm wondering if they're going to package all that together somehow, but or not. I mean, I'm just wondering if that's something that they would even consider.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we want to look into. I think the major issue right now is we're just so focused on getting the stadium done.
Absolutely.
And once it's built and we're like, okay, this is, we stepped into it and we hosted our first event, the home opener next year. I think it becomes easier and more realistic to plan ahead at that point. There's just so much focus and I'm sure you guys know there's a ton that goes into not only building a stadium but putting on an event. So I think that's just where everybody's head's at right now.
That's what the very next question I wanted to ask you. Tell us about a day in Dave's life during a home game. I really want, because I've seen you all over. Everybody's all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but I've seen Evan. I talked about with Davina last week, where she's out there with the kids, trying to herd the cats and
finance person on the field with kids, right?
Exactly. So what a home game? Tell me what you do.
So it really starts like Thursday or Friday, and depends on the Bats' schedule. But if they don't play Thursday or Friday, we can go and we can set up all of our ticket signage. And like, if you guys have ever really paid attention, we just kind of hang our signs over their signs. Not ideal, but that's what we have to do. So that's what it does. And then you get the technology side. So you got the printers, the computers, all the stuff like that, the scanners. Technology breaks sometimes. Right. I'm sure you guys know that.
It just did.
Yeah, it just did, right. So we test everything like a bajillion times. You have to. And Aaron Leibson, who'll be on here later, he's always
hi, Aaron.
The first person to be scanned.
Yeah.
And so I promise Aaron
He's a very energetic and emphatic individual.
I do test scans before Aaron shows up, but still I'm there when Aaron scans in the first time to make sure, okay, it's 5:30 and the ticket scan. So on the equipment side, we do all that, and then I usually work will call. And the reason I do that is a lot of crazy stuff happens at will call between groups and sponsors and just people on SeatGeek when it will call. And so I tend to do that because I can solve most problems, hopefully, a lot of times. But usually I don't stay there very long in that window because, a ticket printer in Witherspoon Gate, which is 100 miles away, I feel like sometimes, broke and I have to go fix that. So from there, I just really become IT with a couple other guys who are actually in the IT department.
Okay. I've been in that area a bunch of times. It seems like the folks that are coming to get tickets are generally very, very cool.
Yeah.
I think I don't ever remember having ever walked by there and seeing people like, I want my ticket. So your interactions with the customers generally been pretty positive.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten a few people who've showed up, bought a ticket, come back and be like, "Oh, I thought this was a baseball game," which is kind of funny.
I never thought of that.
So we've had that happen like 4 or 5 times in the 5 years. But besides,
you just tell them no, it's better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Like, please keep your ticket. I'll give you a refund.
Give you a
Go
refund,
into the
right.
game.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, very pleasant. Really don't get very many complaints at all, and usually that's the case when you have a good product on the field too. Winning always makes people happier.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, everybody's
Makes me
been fantastic. Really, very minimal complaints from the customers, and that makes our job easier.
That's good. And it's the folks that we've had that work in the front office have all said pretty tight knit group in there.
Yeah.
You have to be.
Yeah, you really do.
You know,
I mean, it's not a 40-hour-a-week job.
Right,
That's just not.
right,
That's pro
right.
sports. It's not.
Sure.
So you spend a lot of time with these people, not me in the office, but at events and some of these other things. And of course, all day Saturday most of the time. So.
Right.
Yeah, everybody gets along, and you're right. You have to.
You have no choice.
Yeah.
And do you have any interactions with the players at all? I guess with tickets and stuff, maybe for, I'm wondering being a ticket manager versus the people on the field playing the game. I don't, I guess they come to you for tickets.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
That's the stupidest question I've ever asked.
No, but the big thing that Brad Estes will harp on a lot is.
Oh, thank you.
There's not the front office and the team. So it's not. Brad Estes doing his thing. It's not Hack doing his thing. We are the same club. We try to unite. So we'll try and do at least quarterly, if not more, front office plus team coaching staff events. And we get to hang out and talk to these guys, and they're all have amazing stories.
Yeah.
And even if you have an event for 2-3 hours, it's hard to even talk to all of them. So there's interaction for sure.
We've talked.
I guess you. So sorry.
No.
I guess you kind of helped out with one of my favorite player stories when. That guy was just bashing soccer, and Tarek Murad actually reached out to him and said, "Hey, I'll get you tickets. Come to the game." And now the guy comes to the games.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's so many of those. Tarek was really good at it.
We'll see him again too, by the way.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's people that care about this community on the team and in the front office, and I think that's what makes this group special.
And going back to what you were talking about with minor league baseball, that's my biggest fear is that they start turning, as time goes on, we have no control of it either. Going, way in the future, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But the whole MLS, Division I, Division II, do they want to force AAA type soccer? Which I'm praying they don't.
Right.
Some people are okay with it. That's fine. I'm saying, I don't know if I would be. Looking into the future, do you have any? Are there any upgrades as far as how you're doing what you're doing right now? Is everything great just the way it is? I mean, which is a good, that's fine. If SeatGeek's working out well, and you have a set process in place to deal with that. I mean, does the new stadium impact that at all?
It does. So the big thing we're focusing on heading into the new stadium is one, are all the things we're doing currently working, and can we just do them all over again? Obviously, but we want to focus on the fan experience. So how do we make the fan experience better on the ticketing side? I hear a lot of good feedback from you guys about SeatGeek and transferring tickets, and that's awesome. But how do we make it even better?
Right.
Not everybody's like you guys, where everything about the club all the time, including the app or whatever. So how do we reach maybe the fan that comes out once or twice a year and make their experience better, along with those that are there every game? So that's the big focus of what we're working on heading into March, April next year.
I have ideas.
Shoot them to me. Here's the thing: we're not rocket science. We're not geniuses. So
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So send me.
Look at him.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
but
I got a rocket.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, some of our best ideas have come from emails to info@loucity.com. So anything that you guys have, some of them are not realistic, and we'll tell you that. Hey, thanks for the idea. It just can't happen. Right. And some of them are great.
Was that great suggestion from the first game ever? After that, why don't you put the score up?
Yeah. Seems simple, right?
Yeah. So let me get off of the soccer thing for a little bit. You mentioned that you're married and children. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so met my wife in Florida. We've been married for 4 years.
Was that a baseball thing?
No, she was a teacher and obviously did what I did. And I feel all this brings back like the Mike Watts thing from last week. But I was calling a volleyball game at a local college. You know, I think it paid like $25, and I was like, "This is great."
Right.
And I got there like 3 hours early, and they had literally their setup was like this mic and that board. That was it. So I was like, "Well, I know how to do that." So I was there for nothing for 3 hours early. And one of her friends played on the opposing team, and I just saw her, and I was like, "Well, I've got a couple hours to kill. I might as well go talk to this pretty girl, right?"
There you go.
Yeah.
What was your opening line? Do you remember?
No, I don't. What did he say?
Like most guys, it's probably like a blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
100%.
So you play soccer, huh?
So do you like bread?
Just flick on the PA. How you doing?
How you doing? Okay, so and then engaged, married, 2 kids?
One kid.
One
Our
kid?
first, her name's Jolie. She was born the day before the championship. My wife's a saint. She got induced the day before the championship, so I could go to the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so-
Oh my gosh,
Unbelievable.
dude! You should be giving her like breakfast for a year
Seriously.
in bed.
I mean, we were trying, if you know, and literally she's like, "I'm pregnant," and I did the math, and I was like, "Whoa, yay! This is obviously awesome. This is our first, but like, okay."
That's awesome. Man.
I knew we had a shot to win it all last year.
Yeah.
Okay, and I didn't ask you what your degree was. You went to Penn State. But
Yeah, so it was broadcast journalism.
Was it
I thought I
broadcast
was going to be a
journalism?
radio guy. Yeah.
Okay, well, you never know what doors may open in the
100%.
future. So we always ask everybody that comes on, since it's your first time, allow you just to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I know it's a little open-ended, but if there's something that you like to speak relative to what you're doing or to soccer, to the city, and just go ahead and speak. Let people know what you're thinking.
Sure. So I talked about this earlier, and I'm just really passionate, and it's been unbelievable to see the fan interaction, not only with the club, but then also just the growth of youth soccer. And we've talked about this a lot in the front office, and like that's why somebody like Mario Sanchez coming into the front office
We got to
is
have
so
him on
huge.
here. Gotta
Yeah.
have
You
him.
do. He's incredible guy. But for us, this isn't. Obviously there's a business aspect to this, but
Sure.
this is about growing the sport in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I would just encourage anybody. There's a lot of really good stuff going on in this community, not only for soccer, but a bunch of stuff, but soccer specifically. And Mario does a good job of working with especially kids that maybe can't afford it.
Okay.
There's a lot of good stuff in the works on our side that I can't talk about yet, but hopefully
Sure.
will happen next year. Just any way you can think to grow the game that I'm so passionate about, you guys are so passionate about, that in this community, send ideas our way. You never know. Like I said, Mario is doing a ton of great things, but he's kind of a one-man show a lot of the time. So as we expand that operation, I'm hoping we can do more. And maybe Mario has a bunch of awesome ideas of what to do, but right now.
But you're touching on something right now that we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
There's top down, I have an idea, let's get people to do it, as opposed to people getting together and asking somebody, hey, can you help us out with that? Whole different animal.
Absolutely.
So what you're talking about is essential to growing the game, because one of the biggest issues we have in this country is this whole pay-for-play nonsense that goes on. And when people are enthusiastic and they reach out to an organization like Louisville City, where they assume that there's some expertise in how to deal with all of this, I mean, that's how you do things. That's how you fix things. That's how you make things. Do you have any questions? I have anything else?
Joe, you cover everything really thoroughly.
Yeah.
You're like a pro.
I'm amateur pro. I'm an amateur pro. I don't even know what that means.
Am a pro?
Yeah, it's probably a drug.
So
Yeah, most likely.
Pro-am.
No, I want to make sure you guys are.
I think they call it the pro-am.
I feel like I hog things sometimes. I apologize. I
Yeah,
don't
but
mean
you're
to.
doing it well, so keep doing it.
I'm a good hog.
Yeah.
let me tell one story that I
Do
don't
it.
think we've talked about in a while. So
Wait, does it include Brad Estes? There you go.
yeah, I believe Brad Estes was on staff at the time. So
Oh, I'm sorry. That's just a cheap excuse to get another drink.
I did a bunch of power hours in college. Play a song.
I
That's
hear
great.
you.
Yeah.
So we talked about the championship last year, but the one that always sticks out to me, and for some reason preparing for this podcast, it got me just kind of sentimental of all the greatest moments that I've been a part of here. But the first championship, from the ticketing perspective, since that's what I do, Monday night at 9:00, right?
That's
was the championship game.
Right.
We were terrified. Like in the front office, we're like, what if 3,000 people show up and we're on ESPN, and we were just terrified. And so, we have these conference calls with the league. That's like what you do for like a week and a half leading up to the championship game. You're just talking to the league the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving us all these ideas like, well, if you're worried about it, here's some tactics we've seen. Sell all the tickets only on the camera side and all this stuff. I'm like, we can't do that.
I hate when people do that.
Yeah, we can't do that, guys. And so we go on sale. Season ticket members do their thing. We're like, okay, we're already at 3,000-4,000. This is great. 3 days later, it's like 11,000, and we're 4 or 5 days out from the game, and we were just blown away. I mean, it was one of those things where we worked like 80 hours that week, but
and knowing full well that the weather was going to be cold.
Yeah,
I mean, the
like
weather had already
20
said.
degrees.
Yeah, the weather had already said.
So that was kind of when I knew, like, okay, and I believe this is pre-stadium. It is. So this is pre-stadium approval, and this is when I knew, like, long term, this is where I want to be. This is something special that we're growing here, and like if 3,000 people would have showed up that night, I'm telling you, me personally would not have been surprised. Just Monday night in November, 20 degrees at 9 o'clock, like you have parents dragging their kids out. Like this is a once in a lifetime
for a 9
opportunity.
o'clock start.
Little do they know we do back to back. But maybe this is the only championship you ever see in your life, kind of thing. And that's when I knew that like I said, we had something special here, and the incredible passion that you don't know how much that championship meant to, I think, the organization. The growth we saw that night and beyond, like, just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun getting to know everybody. I mean, we talk about that all the time. Is the amount of people that we've all met outside of our own sphere that we never would have met. I'm sure, like you talk about yourself with the ownership group, and even with some of the fans. I'm assuming that you've gotten to know several of the folks. And man, that's what I'm thankful for. Yeah, is the ability to do this, and that's what I wanted to have you on here, because I know that you've done a ton of work that doesn't get, you're not in front of a camera, and you're not in front of a microphone, and you deserve that. And I just wanted to let you know that we really appreciate everything that you're doing.
No, thank you. My favorite part of the job is interacting with the fans. I mean, it really is. There's so many good people with good stories that support this club, and it's truly a pleasure to get to interact with them.
And I gotta say, one takeaway from that game, you've made it when the mayor of the city is leading the fan charge.
Right. That was a crazy night, boy. Golly, it's been a lot of fun. Dave, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you, sir. Hope you had a good time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We'll have you again. We want to do something in the off season with some of the other with a bunch of the people in the front office. I think we have it's going to be a fun idea. So hopefully we can get you on for that again.
Absolutely, I'm excited. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Pleasure. Dave Walkovic, ladies and gentlemen, the Ticket Man.
Mm-hmm.
And
Save us a seat, yo, the Ticket Man.
So, there's so many people that have interacted with over the last 5 years we were just talking about, that aren't always in front of a camera and don't get to do podcasts and don't get to do those things, that have had such a massive impact. Like if the ticket process is not good, that's a problem.
Exemplary. Yeah.
So do we want to touch on anything before we introduce our next row of guests?
I've got a couple of follows here.
Follow it up, man.
JP79 Lou. Welcome. Thanks for the follow.
Hi, Jorge.
We also have TD Scott 66. We've got 2 new followers. If you are in the chat currently and you haven't smashed that follow button, please do it. We need your support. Every follow literally helps us become affiliates, and we would love you forever. And I will even do a dance for you, like.
We're gonna hold you. We're gonna hold you to that now.
Yeah,
we're gonna hold you to that.
Off Twitch, I will dance for you.
No, you didn't say that. You said no. We're on Twitch, and you said that you were gonna dance.
Okay, all right. For every follow, I'll do a body roll on stream.
No, you don't have to dance.
Do the body roll.
I don't know. So I guess we 30 seconds of we have to. We kind of have to talk about this for 30 seconds. The end of the game last Saturday.
Boo. Don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
You can't make me.
All I'm going to say is this. There's never been a moment that's going to test the character of this team more than that. I can't think. That's the worst draw we've ever had. That's worse than half the losses we've had. And there's literally nothing that's going to test these guys more. And it's really weird because you sit there and you're in this place where you want to talk about it, and you have to acknowledge that it was a bad deal. But you've gotten to know the guys on the team, or you've gotten to know, and you want to put it in a place somewhere in between being legitimately, speaking legitimately how you feel, but at the same time, you don't want to be crappy about it. So, I mean, do you have a problem doing that? I mean, honestly, think about that for a second. It's hard to talk about. Matt, I know you know a lot of the folks. Mm-hmm. I mean, you felt just as horrible as I did about it. Certainly doesn't compare to what they felt about it. I'm sure they were miserable about it. It's just that there's this soft spot you got to try and find between, especially with us. I mean, we're sitting here. We could be the type that sits there and go, well, and this one did that, and that one did this, and he's a horrible human. That's not the case. But people do that, you know, and mm-hmm. That's not what I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to say something on this show that I wouldn't say to one of those faces. I would never do that to them because they don't deserve that.
They were dominant. They were. I won't say dominant. They were in control for 85 minutes, and just. I felt like when the indie player got sent off, they finally relaxed a little.
Yeah,
you can't do it.
It was a challenge, but that's all I wanted to say about that. I really want to make a point about. Look, we're going to sit here. We're going to be critical when we have to be critical. And they deserve to be criticized from a supporting perspective, but at the same time, they're not going to feel any worse, or we're not going to feel any worse than they do.
No.
So, and it's we're all in this together. It really is symbiotic, I think.
We do have some good news though.
What's that?
The GoFundMe for Sean Russell.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
He has raised through 2.5 weeks, something like that. 4,256 euros.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Can you just back that up a little bit and tell everybody who might not know about that, what that was a little bit?
So Sean Russell was part of the team in 2016. I'm pretty sure it was 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, second year?
Yeah.
Right.
That's 2016.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play a lot just because that was a pretty good team. It was a penalty shootout away from the championship that year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, pretty good team.
Talk about a miserable memory.
Yeah. Oh. But he didn't end up playing hardly at all, I don't think. He ended up going back to Ireland. He played for Limerick under an amateur contract.
Right. And
he blew out his knee while he was playing for them. Jesus. And they initially said they were going to pay for it, but then they didn't. Mm-hmm. He got his one surgery done. He only owes not as much on that one. But to get on his next surgery, I think he needs like 5,500 euros or something like that to pay for it.
Right.
And they're completely letting him down.
Right.
So somebody there started a GoFundMe for him. I donated. I know some of the other Louisville City fans donated as well.
Good.
And yeah, it's up to 4,250. The total goal is 10,000. I think if you get it up over 6, that'll cover the bulk of his bills.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And if you follow him on Twitter, it's Russell. It's at Russell with 2 L's _ Sean SEAN. You can find the link to support him on there.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're ready to move on then. Do we have chairs for 2 people?
I can definitely grab 2 chairs.
Yeah, we're going to do that because we have 2 folks coming on now.
Or one chair.
Or one chair. Come on over.
They can come over here.
Let me grab a chair.
I can take a break because I'm a little
sore anyway. Grab this ottoman.
We can grab the ottoman. Yes, Mike Baldwin, one of our capos.
Okay. All right.
And I guess a Brett Favre fan.
Tosh.
Yay!
Tosh.
Aaron Leibson. Leibson?
Yeah.
Yes, I was always wondering about that. Leibson. Guys, thank you for joining us.
Hey.
Really appreciate it. I guess that this is you share some of the sentiment of being utterly devastated after the game. I don't even know how to say that in a rosy way. What do you think?
Go ahead.
It was surreal, a little rough, but I was really happy we didn't lose 3-2.
Hear that?
Yeah.
That's true. That's a glass half empty or half full.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
And I couldn't see it when I rewatched Lucky's goal. It was they shouldn't have been down there.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful cross and it was a fantastic.
Of all the people
goal.
to score that goal.
Was it really
quality goal?
I didn't want it to be Lucky.
Yeah,
I didn't either. That was terrible.
Yeah, he was right in front of us because I was sitting with Scouts. I was over there just yuck.
That doesn't make it better. But
no, it doesn't.
I had the fortunateness.
Fortune. Yeah.
To not be there at the game. It was my dad's birthday, and at the time I was having a lovely seafood dinner. And
then I threw it all up.
No, I excused myself to the restroom. I was like, you know what? While I'm in here, I'll go ahead and check the final score. And had a little moment to myself.
It's a little tough.
And
anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt. Pardon me. Hey, Matt. Would you mind grabbing me one of these out of the fridge in the door?
Another one
pretty
for
please.
the working man.
Sure,
There you go. Let's start.
I don't have to drive.
You know, before we get too far, I would like to mention that I did follow, and I did not see a body roll. So I mean, if you want to look, I guess over my head. I guess I didn't. I think everybody out in the Twitch universe would like to see the body
Probably
roll.
would like to. I'll tell you. This is what you do. This is while you're. I'm not even going to. Anyway, when you're ready to do a body roll, just stop everybody and say it's time for a Derrick body roll.
Okay.
Body roll time.
Okay.
All right.
So, Mike, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sir. I don't think we've ever sat down more for a couple minutes. That's why I wanted to have you on, because I'm really looking forward to hanging out a little bit and finding out about you. So.
Yeah. So my journey to joining the supporters group is kind of a different one. I was soccer curious, I guess you could say.
Okay.
It wasn't until my girlfriend took me to a game, and I enjoyed the atmosphere. You guys were always killing it over there.
First year? Second year?
That would have been first year because Fondy, I believe, scored the goal for the winner in that game.
Okay.
Can't remember which game though.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
I never wrote down.
I know. Yeah, they. I was really into photography at the time, and that's what I was doing in college.
Right.
So I actually started out as a photographer for the team for, let's see, all the way through the first championship season.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And then halfway into the next one, it wasn't until that season, I guess that was 2018 season.
Okay.
I was like, I don't want to do photos anymore.
Right.
I want to be in the sports sector.
Yeah.
I want to be a capo. I mean, that's
it's intoxicating.
It
really is.
I found myself, game after game, just more hanging around that area and just casually shooting pictures, getting what I was needed to get. But then I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done with this.
So, originally from
Louisville.
You're from Louisville?
Yeah.
What school? Where'd you go to high school?
That's the Louisville question. I went to Trinity High School.
Trinity High School.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt. I heard Matt booed because I'm going to assume that's a Saint X thing. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
I have
we're going to start a fight here, I think.
No, I have a different relationship
Thumb
with a
wrestle.
lot of the Saint X Trinity thing here. I know it's a local high school references here, but I just think of them the DC universe. There's different Earths, so Earth 1, Earth 2. They're
It's very good, Matt.
It's like a chair.
It's kind of like, you want the stool? There's a stool.
Yeah,
Take the stool.
there is
Here, let me push up your stool.
Okay, hello.
Just don't, step on the power button for the surge protector.
No problem.
Let me make sure.
That's
Hey,
all.
this,
Go ahead, Mike.
Joe, this guy, he used to work for OVW.
yeah.
What's OVW stand for?
Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Hey!
I knew that.
You're damn
Anyway, we're
right.
going to get to that. We're going to get to
We will. That's a fun one. But no, like I was saying, the high schools, it's you at your high school exists as a person, and the exact copy of you exists at the other school.
that. Right. I understand. I hear you.
It's very funny because I actually ran into the guy, my doppelganger there, and he sucked. But that says a lot. It says a lot about myself. Yeah, he's a terrible guy. Real ass hat him, but
College?
U of L.
U of L? Which major?
Communications.
Okay.
Science.
I can see that.
communications. So I guess I am a
So
scientist.
you can communications and science, so you can explain theories of relativity and stuff
No.
in a manner an idiot like me could understand.
I don't want to put myself over like that. The science of communications. I could have been an artist of communications or a scientist of
Right.
communications. I think the difference is an extra year of Spanish. I think is
Right.
the only real difference.
Anyway.
I can do Arkansas relativity. It's Jeff Foxworthy's example, I believe. If you go fishing with your uncle and your daddy, and it's just the two of you, you might be a redneck.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh.
I
Okay.
couldn't resist.
Aaron,
I'm not sorry.
how about
at
you,
all.
sir? Where do you come from, and when did you graduate high school?
I'm born and bred in Louisville. Graduated in '89 from
All right.
KCD.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Good country day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Born on the right side of the tracks, then.
I don't know. I guess.
All right.
I turned 49 in December.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm old. I remember Ohio Valley Wrestling in the '80s at Louisville Gardens.
Oh my God.
Golly.
Yeah.
That was
much
Memphis.
fun.
So, did you go to university?
CWA.
I started at the University of New Mexico,
Oh, okay.
and I was out there for a number of years, and I finished at U of L.
What was that like?
Albuquerque, it was a blast.
It sounds like it. I mean, I've driven through Albuquerque.
Yeah, he ran opposition.
I got a great Albuquerque story actually. But
New Mexico is better than Albuquerque, in my opinion.
Okay.
Half the population lives in Albuquerque.
Right. Exactly.
New Mexico, I was a big Lobo fan, and so that was fun. But the whole state in general is, fantastic. So.
Right. And then you graduated in.
I
you went to school or whatever.
I took 16 years to graduate.
I hear you, bud. I hear
graduated
you.
with
I hear
260 credits and 123 to my major.
Dude, I hear you so much. I went to 3 different schools. But
graduated in 2005 with religion and literature.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty interesting. And what do you currently do career-wise?
I'm with a Seminole affiliate, Kentucky Referral Network, so it's real estate.
Okay. Okay.
And then I've done a lot of other stuff in the past, mostly political campaigns.
Right. Okay. So I got to tell you my Albuquerque story. This is a true story. I was with the Drum and Bugle Corps called the Velvet Knights. This is back in the 80s.
Sexy.
And we had a show, and we're rehearsing. Yes, it's very sexy. And we were rehearsing in Albuquerque. And I'm not kidding you. The stadium was not very big, and it had there were all like concrete seating. And there were some folks, I'm assuming they were Native American. They were watching us. Pretty hot day, but it was no sun, or no clouds, no nothing. I'm not kidding you. There was a dude that was sitting there. We were hanging out on lunch. He's like, smells like rain. I'm like, really?
It was like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Within 3 hours, it was just like you were under the ocean. It was insane. So it was like, smells like rain. What does that even mean? I'd never heard that phrase before. I guess he was right.
Every day in Albuquerque, between 3, 4, and 5, it'll rain for about 20, 30 minutes.
Okay. So what turned you on to the first game at Louisville City? Were you at the first game?
I was at the first game against St. Louis. I've always loved soccer. Grew up playing soccer. Grew up playing every sport.
Okay.
Pretty fanatical about every sport.
Good.
And I found out I wasn't part of the Coopers in the formation and everything early on. But when I found out there was going to be a team, I was like, well, I'm going.
Right.
So, and I got there, and I was like, I want to sit behind the goal. And so I went there, and I was like, is there a firm here? And they were like, Coopers. So I was like, all right.
Awesome.
I'm a Cooper.
Awesome. So I'm gonna jump on something else. We were talking before with Dave that he supported Blackpool. I know you support a non-Division I team in
Derby,
England, right?
Derby County.
Tell me a little bit about that.
It turned out.
I guess the first question I would ask.
I've always loved soccer.
Right.
I grew up watching it, but I never had a team. And then DC United, I flipped a coin between DC and Columbus. MLS's first year.
Probably the 2 closest teams at that point back in the day.
And it was DC. That was the coin toss went to DC. So I got lucky the first few years.
Right.
And then a couple years after that, I just never had a team.
Right.
And so I was like, I want an English team. So a friend of mine gave me a box of Premier League cards. I don't know if it was called that back then, but First Division cards. And there was tons of Derby players in it.
Right.
Derby. I'd been to the Peak District before, which is where Derby is.
Right. Okay.
But I'd never been to a game there or anything and didn't know anything about them. So I was like, Derby, Derby City, black and white. So I decided to like them.
That's awesome.
And now I love them.
Awesome. Yeah. Mike, have you picked a team outside of Louisville to support at all, or do you just?
Yeah.
Don't say Liverpool. Don't say Liverpool.
Well,
say whatever you want.
Having said that, I will say Liverpool.
Oh. There you go.
No, they. I really wasn't. I was mostly focused on the supporters culture and everything like that,
right.
And that's grown into an incredible love of the game.
Right.
I found like-minded folks, and that was the team that they supported, and I thought they were good dudes and good ladies. So I was like, you know what? That's the team I'm going to look into.
Right. And I think that it's funny because I don't know. I didn't even ask you guys. I mean, I know that you the Columbus thing, but you haven't picked a team outside of this nation to support, have you?
I have. My loyalty is up for grabs.
Is it really?
As far as a team is concerned in England.
Derby
gosh.
County.
There you go. So we could sell you. Or something. No, we can't sell you. I said that the wrong way.
You can take Twitch donations.
You can take Twitch donations.
So if any English Premier League teams are out there and want an extra supporter,
if you need one more supporter, smash the follow button and make Derek dance to support your team.
Throw some shekels his way.
Okay, wrestling. Tell me about this whole deal.
Oh
What
man.
did you do?
Okay, so wrestling is a huge love of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like there's a point in a lot of people's lives where you love wrestling, you leave wrestling, you come back to wrestling.
That's kind of me, actually. Yeah, go ahead.
That was my thing. It's just the same way I got back in the way I got into soccer. I was a photographer. I was shooting photos. I contacted OVW and said, "Hey, I want to take photos."
Right. Okay.
And they said, "Great, go get a license with the Kentucky State Boxing Wrestling Association." So I was a licensed wrestler.
Wow.
in the
Okay.
state.
Come on, really? So you have to get. Wait a second. You have to get the same license that a wrestler has just to take pictures at games.
To be inside of the.
Not anymore, but you did.
You did.
Yeah.
So now
they've rolled that back a little bit.
So the license is all paper. They don't make you do like physical anything, do they?
I had to go get a physical.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, that's.
But I didn't
I'm not,
know.
They're not like get in a ring, kid.
I'm gonna go.
Get a ring, take a picture while I'm kicking you in the face.
You gotta take a boat.
Yeah. Now I climb the ladder, I take the picture,
Right,
go
right,
through
right,
two
right.
tables on
Right.
fire. Great. But
All right, this nice gentleman will help you. His name's New Jack.
yeah. So I started doing that. They said that they needed a camera operator to work their video camera one time. I said, okay, great, I'll help out. At that given time, I did that for about a few weeks. The director at the time, a guy named Marty, great guy, he was leaving to move on to go do something else.
Okay.
And I was working under Al Snow.
Yeah.
So he was the producer at the producer at the time.
Owns it now.
Owns it now. Yeah,
Jeez
yeah.
Louise.
So he was going to look for a new director. I just asked in a production meeting. I said, "Let me do one episode,"
Wow.
and he said, "Okay, fine." So
That's awesome.
I was sitting at a board, much like this. I'm still looking at this board. I have no idea what most of these things do, and
Neither do
Neither do I, and I run it.
right. And
Neither do I, and I own it. I use it for gigs.
so
Still trying to figure it out.
It lights up when people talk.
That's right. Nice. That Matt Owens on the board, ladies and gentlemen.
so the director.
I know, I'm fired.
The director at the time, Marty, on his way out, he goes, "All right, that's how you that button right there is how you preview. That's your preview screen. That's your live screen. That's how you switch the two. That's it. Good
Right.
luck."
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So
Was that a live broadcast?
so they do
Is it record-
live to tape.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But there's not a lot of room for error.
Were you there when Nick Dinsmore was actually young?
No, Nick Dinsmore has been 100 years old.
I hope he doesn't watch this.
I hope he does.
He'll come over here and whip my ass.
Good man. He's a good man. He's been old as long as I am. A funny Nick Dinsmore story, real quick. Sidebar: on a trip to California.
But Nick Dinsmore played Doink the Clown at one point.
Okay. Well, there you
Also,
go.
Eugene.
Yeah.
Eugene. He played a
Everybody
savant.
played Doink at one point.
We were heading out to California. 10 years old we were heading out on an airplane. This guy sits down next to me and he goes, we used to start talking. He's an older gentleman. And he says, "Do you like professional wrestling?" I said, "Yeah, I love professional wrestling." He goes, "Well, my son's Nick Dinsmore." And I was like, I don't know who that is. He goes, "Hey, he's Eugene on television." I was like, wow. I was blown away. He goes, "Well, why don't you give me your address?" And I had to check with my mom because, giving a stranger your address when you're 10 years old is generally frowned upon.
Yeah.
"Hey, stranger in the airport, you send me something." So he sent me an autographed picture of his son. And I think I still have that at my parents' house.
Oh, wow.
But it was a personalized picture to me. He was actually flying out to visit, to go watch his son at WrestleMania. It was in, I want to say it's in LA that year.
Okay.
And he was going to go watch his son wrestle at WrestleMania.
That's awesome, dude.
Aaron, do you have a celebrity story of any type?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of any.
Yeah. Have you
I
ever
used to
met?
love Tony Atlas though in the '80s. The wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let me ask you first. The experience of sitting in the Cooper section over the last few years. Give just your general impressions. I mean, what do you think about it? And honestly, I mean, it's a lot of fun, obviously. Yeah. But what entices you to do that? What's the draw behind sitting with us when we do this thing?
The main thing is I wanted to be part of whoever was down there. I love the whole atmosphere, like I'm sure everybody does. I don't necessarily get into. I know all the songs,
right?
All the little dances we do, but I don't necessarily do all that. I watch every single kick, pass,
right?
No matter what. So, and then I like a lot of the traditional stuff that I think of as traditional.
Okay.
So I do my part, and I'm intently watching. It's just, I just wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Right. Okay.
And I do have, I think of old school. I'm glad I didn't grow up in England. I'd have probably, been in a lot of trouble. So I love the whole atmosphere.
There's an edge to it.
Being part of the Coopers and, being part of the group.
There's definitely an edge to it a little bit, especially when things are in doubt. That's what I used to love. I used to love going to away sporting events. Still do. It's different now, though.
Yeah.
When I was in my 20s, it was one thing. Now I'm in my 50s. But there's an energy sitting with everybody that it's hard to explain because you get caught up in it. All of a sudden, the moment of being around everybody almost supersedes everything else. I mean, I know you're saying.
I feel
I'm saying
like that as my eyes are appealed to the.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But I love the tighter it is, the more we're in unison, and I love it when we get mad.
So I'm going to come back.
That's when I lose my voice.
I'm going to come back to that for a second. So eventually, Mike, you make a decision. You want to be a capo.
Yeah.
When does that happen?
That happened. You're talking about an away game, and that's exactly when it happened.
Okay.
Away to Cincinnati. Yeah. Oh, everyone chuckles at that.
That'll
one
motivate you.
Yeah.
Oh man, no. Away to Cincinnati was. How was last? No, they were in the league last year, so it was the year before. There was a. How do we say? There was an on-field incident which some photographers were able to capture pictures of. And
Jump.
Yeah. So the Cincinnati front office did not like that. They got the pictures of that. They attributed that with too many photographers on the field. They limit us to the amount of photographers that we could bring away.
Okay.
So, wow, really,
Seriously?
Oh, like North Korea, state type of
Right,
we'll
exactly. That's
take
what
the
it sounds
pictures
like.
We want you to take.
Well, let me interrupt for a second.
There's some good comparisons there too. That's fertile
Right.
ground.
Let me interrupt for that. The protection of the brand in American soccer is insane.
Oh yeah.
They are so crazed about protecting their brand that does not exist anywhere else. They just let things happen. When I say let things happen, of course there are very serious things that they do not allow to happen, and they shouldn't. But what you're talking about, like somebody took a picture of somebody biting somebody, we got to control that. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, because you can't, and it just makes you look like an idiot when you try to do that, right? I mean,
here's an idea: control your player who's biting people.
exactly.
Just tell him not
Suarez
to
has
bite
done it
people.
multiple times. He's like,
So go on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. So that game, going up there, I had a blast. They wouldn't allow another photographer. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going up. I'm gonna have fun. I was gonna plan on going to that game anyways to shoot photos. I'm gonna go have a good time.
It was fate.
Oh, it was. Because not only did we win that game, we scored in the first 12 minutes.
Right.
And there's almost nothing better in this world than being at an away game, the stadium packed with 25,000 people, and 24,500 of them
Despise you.
are dead silent.
Right.
The absolute silence of not only the Bailey, their supporter section over there, the absolute quietness of the stadium.
Right.
And one of the capos, Wyatt Weeks, has an amazing video that we share every so often, week or two, where we are singing. We have a drum. Where I forgot which chant it was.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what the title of that was.
It doesn't really have a title. That's
Okay, good. I
we
thought
took
it
that
was
from
maybe
a Four Seasons tune. I took that from. All right, can I answer? Let me. You know where that came from? I got to tell you what it is, because everybody. You're not the first person that has asked me that. What is that? That is a Dion. Not Dion. That's a Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons tune.
Oh yeah.
Walk like a man. Walk like a man. Talk like a man. The beginning of that.
Sing like a man was apparently out of the
Apparently out of the question for him. It was. For him it was.
That's good.
But here's the thing. I marched in a drum corps called the Sunrisers and taught them for a few years on and off in the 80s and 90s. We used to have bus songs. I mean, if you're a sporting team or, a group of people, you start singing songs on a bus, right? This was one of our songs. Yeah. But we Marty, I hope he doesn't watch it. There was a guy who used to, he did something he shouldn't have done. Let's just leave it at that. And we did the song, and we had words afterward that describe bye license. Ain't got no registration. Anyway, we made words, but that was the thing. The main part, right? The main part of the song was, ooh, and we would go what? Anyway, and that's why I adapted it for this because it's so stupid. I mean, it's just so. It's a great interlude when you don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. You know, and people hear you sing it. And everybody's got these songs, right? They won't you be my girl? Everybody sings that, and I wanted to have a 50s song or a 60s song that was our own that nobody else does. Nobody else does that. So that's the genesis of us singing. Anyway, I'm please continue.
So we're in the middle of that song.
So you learn things when you watch this. You learn things.
We know that it does not have a title.
Right. It does not have a title. It's the ooh song.
Ooh song.
Let's do ooh.
Let's do the ooh. So we're sitting there, and as the footage shows, we're singing, and he's shooting behind us. And if you've been up to Cincinnati, they give you this section at the time that was just long, narrow, and so he's filming everybody. Pans over to see the Bailey. I don't know how many thousand people. I think it's like 2,500 or however many people. Mm-hmm. And every single one of them, capos, supporters, every single supporters group, drummers, are all sitting there.
Right.
With the big boo-boo face on, right. So mad. And it's that point, and you're giving them hell, and that's what I loved about going there is you were so close to their, you could send over sign language, they get some of it, and you could see them directly, and you see that pissed off look when they finally make eye contact with you, and they're like.
Aaron, did you go to any away games? Have you been to any away games?
No.
You haven't been to any?
I don't go to away games.
You don't go to away games?
Yeah.
Is there?
I want it because of my mother.
Oh, I understand. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
But I would love to.
Now,
especially, I wish I could have gotten to Cincinnati.
Has there been a sporting event in you're a big sports fan, an away event that you went to, maybe as a college sports fan or anything like that, where something similar may have happened?
With the
I like hearing about stuff like this.
UK U of L game, I was a big UK fan. The year Rex Chapman scored like 26.
Wow, okay.
Was it 1986?
Wow.
At U of L, and there was about 200 Kentucky fans in Freedom Hall.
Right.
And I was on the upper level.
So that must have been wound up.
I could yell at my buddy on the lower level, and it was so quiet we could hear each other.
That must have been wound up. Man, I caught a snowball right in the friggin' head in Philadelphia. It was 1980 something, 87, and it was the Eagles, Giants Eagles, and we went to the game and there was snow and I caught one, boom, right there.
So that's the friendly greeting. Because like normally if they're being hostile, they use a brick.
Well, it was
the worst fans, right?
They're unbelievable. I'll tell you, they're passionate. That's what I say when
the jail and the stadium, right?
They hit you and Santa Claus. Rarefied air, my friend.
Well, they hit me with a snowball. They hit him with an ice ball.
Oh, okay.
So I feel privileged amongst other things that they've done. But I didn't want to talk about that. I was going to mention that when Walkovic was here.
On the reverse end, the monsoon game against Cincinnati.
Right.
When they scored,
the puddle.
I was jealous and irate watching their reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that's the exact opposite of what I wanted to be doing.
I
gave them a few signals.
Right. And that's the thing is that we made them a lot better. I can remember the very first game that we played over there. Hoffman scored the 3 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Or no. That wasn't the first game. That was that the second game? I don't remember. Because first game at Cincinnati, was that the first one?
Yeah.
Because I remember going over to the Bailey after the game was over, and they were all cool. But I could tell you what they were. They were all stunned, and I literally had people tell you guys don't stop. You guys don't stop singing. We've heard that so many times from all other people, and they had to match that. And then, look, all respect to them. I'll tell you right now. I watched 3 minutes of this Orlando deal and the last game. They're still wound up in the Bailey doing their thing. So God bless them. Regardless of how, the sports rivalry thing or whatever.
And, of course, to bring things around to this week, you know who we got a lot of that influence from?
Who's that now? Oh, yeah, there you go, St. Louis.
St. Louis, very first game we had.
And that was right. And that first game, I'll tell you right now, the first game that we played against St. Louis, we have a very friendly rivalry right now. Ooh, it wasn't very friendly the first
No, I
game.
remember I remember being impressed with what they brought.
Right.
And, some more hand
You know,
signals.
exactly. And
it was the first game ever. You wanted to
right.
get that going, you know.
Right, exactly. The thing is, it just felt so manufactured, and we beat them so much. It wasn't and I'm not trying to be crappy. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
If it was two other teams that weren't us, I would say the same thing. After a while, you get beaten so much, it doesn't feel like a rivalry anymore. And their folks, they do such a great job, and we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the St. Louis thing. I want to ask about the meme deal. I want to ask about the recording thing that we talked about. You know that we did. Can we do that later?
Oh, yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a bit. But do want to have a little bit of fun with everybody now.
Uh-oh.
You guys
Chicken
ready?
sandwiches.
There you go. So what we do is we like this is where we get to know
That's
everybody a
dangerous
little.
territory here, man.
We get to know everybody a little bit better, and we just ask random questions.
Sure.
And we get to see what your responses are. Very simple, easy.
I'm excited. You haven't been noticing? I've been stroking this thing.
And just like that, it's off the rails.
Drawn to it.
Oh, I know. It's
All
just
right.
a magnet.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Just
you
don't
wait.
touch Jobu.
Yeah,
No. Or is wrong.
That's
No.
we're gonna
I
lose.
respect.
We'll lose 8-0
No.
if you do that.
Yeah.
All right, so here you go. And all you folks at home, you can feel free to at 3B Podcast, hashtag 3B Podcast. If you hear anything, tell us what you think about these questions. Just trying to be an announcement. All right, so you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, or you can't get any sleep. You need a snack. Starting with you, Matt. What's your go-to snack?
My go-to snack at 3 in the morning
Oh man, people are gonna judge
is
me. When
gonna be probably a warmed-up can of chili.
A warmed-up can of chili
Yeah.
That works.
That
All right.
work. A whole can of chili.
would make the morning. That makes the morning interesting. At least it would for me.
Right.
I mean, I'm fine with it. My coworkers are not happy.
Don't forget about chat.
Chat.
You have to
Chat.
talk. The thing about Twitch is you have to talk to chat like it's a person.
Okay, educate me. Do it.
So hey, chat. If you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you need some form of snack,
Thank you.
Sustenance.
what's your snack? What do you like to eat?
Derrick.
Holla in chat.
Holla.
I like
Holla.
I like your pandering voice.
You have a very nice pandering voice.
You haven't said smash that follow button. I don't know.
I've been typing it.
Okay, but
Okay.
I don't think you're twitching properly. You're supposed to say
Yeah.
follow and donate. I'm pretty sure a lot.
Crush that follow button.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Mike, you're next. It's 2 a.m. Your go-to snack.
I had it yesterday. Woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't sleep. I do toast butter with honey.
Nice.
Okay.
That's pretty interesting, Aaron.
I have no go-to because it just depends on what's there. I did it last night. I think the night before I'll wake up at 3 in the morning, whatever's there.
Okay.
Cold canned food, half a quiche.
Okay. No kidding. So it's
Doesn't
whatever.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
I'll
Okay.
get famished and eat it.
So your go-to snack is a snack.
Yeah.
It's just a general snack. Derrick.
Just throw together a quick risotto. It's fine.
A nice
No,
beef.
no preparation.
Just throw together a nice cordon bleu, chicken cordon bleu. And,
I make this thing that I call fake haggis, and they serve it at Renaissance festivals and stuff. But you make a whole bunch of ground beef, you make mashed potatoes, and I put a bunch of I love hot sauce, so I put a bunch of hot sauce in it. So it's normally like Cholula.
right.
But you make mashed potatoes, and you make the ground beef. You mix it together to make it look like haggis,
Right.
and then I put a bunch of hot sauce in it. But that's
Okay.
horrible. But that's what I eat in the middle of the night.
Mostly
Like,
shepherd's pie.
Yeah,
Mostly
yeah.
kind of. It's almost.
I just call it fake haggis.
Your Cholula, you don't pay for that, right? You get it for free, like
Qdoba.
everybody does. Like Qdoba. They just have it there. It's free, right? That's to take.
That's so horrible.
That's to take, right?
They say take as much as you want.
That's a cultural thing now.
Right, chat. Chat. You just
Yeah,
take.
chat.
You just take that. Right?
Yeah. So chat. Remember to enter your favorite 2 a.m. snack. Mine is blueberry Pop-Tarts.
Oh wow.
Non-frosted. I don't like frosted.
Wait,
Pop-Tarts.
non-frosted?
Non-frosted.
You're gonna go. You're going on a list.
Raw. I know. It's like
Chocolate frosted.
I know raw. I like them raw. I like raw Pop-Tarts.
I did get one response in chat. I'm pretty sure that Kathy Ryan is Little Thor. That's she likes chocolate chip ice cream at 2 in the morning.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'll take that.
Kathy strikes me as an ice cream. Like ice cream is happy.
What about Mike?
You know,
what do you think Mike eats it?
Mike
Mike Ryan.
Mike Ryan, I can get Doom.
Bourbon.
He Doom. He consumes Doom at 2 o'clock in the morning to make
I think
himself
it's some
feel.
kind of brown liquor
Yeah. Okay, so here we go.
Bourbon balls.
out of a
Bourbon
tiny
balls.
bottle. I've never
Hey,
seen.
Mike, you asked for this.
He's like his pockets are like Mary Poppins bad, but just it's only filled with tiny liquor. But like every time I look, you want one? I'm like, where did you get that?
I got Danny B says string cheese.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, I'm going to start with you on this one.
All right.
Favorite non-soccer team that you support?
Cleveland Browns.
There you go. So are you enjoying this so far with
2-2, first in the division.
2-2? Baker Mayfield and
2-2. When has that happened the last time?
I know.
Yeah, I like Baker. Chubb had a great game.
He did have a great game. He's unbelievable.
I've been a Browns fan.
With a not so good offensive line, he ran for like 200 something yards.
Yeah, 3 of my first round picks. But
We're talking NFL here, guys. Relax. What about you, Derek? Do you have a non-soccer team that you support? Your favorite non-soccer team?
Before my grandfather passed away, he kind of handed the Chicago Cubs over to me. So
Okay.
yeah.
What's that? Raise the flag? Is that their thing?
Yeah.
I stopped following baseball.
Yeah.
Fly the W.
The
Is that what
W,
it
yeah.
is? Matt.
Well, only one team both had a player and a coach that was Ditka. So I got to go with the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Chicago Bears. I'm going up there. I'm going up to hang out with Tosh to watch the Giants and Bears play next week.
Nice.
Joe, I'm also a Blackhawks fan. Did you know that?
I was always kind of fan. Stan Mikita.
Yeah.
Going back way in the day. Tony O. Tony Esposito. Golly.
I was a
That's back in the day.
Red Wings fan because of Zombo.
Okay. There you go. And they had some great years too.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
I gotta be frank, I don't follow much other sports. I was a big U of L Cardinals fan,
That counts.
but I gotta say I've completely fallen off college sports after this whole
Yep.
debacle.
I'm the same way.
I
Yeah.
just I can't be bothered to watch basketball, college football, college basketball. I just don't care.
I have a note to talk about something later related to college sports. Definitely bring that up.
Yeah.
And the NCAA is just wildly corrupt at this point.
Yeah, it's so bad. And then
hot take. Jeez.
and then I got
It's not really a hot take, really.
Hot cakes?
it's not even that hot. It's pretty.
It's lukewarm.
But
Oh, it's freezing cold.
anybody that's ever spoken to me knows that I'm a Giants fan. So
Yeah.
just
You are?
don't be a douche.
Eli's getting old. Eli's getting up there. in
He's
years,
done.
man.
Eli's done. But Daniel Jones, man,
thought
2
that
games in a
accent
row.
was
He's just
Jets.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not
No, I didn't. I don't say the F word.
I think
enough.
Eli is Eli older than Peyton now.
No,
Did he
might-
surpass him in
played
age?
older.
Yeah.
Played older. And that freaking Saquon Barkley is coming back after a freaking high ankle sprain. He may play this week. He's not even human. Anyway.
2 rings though.
Yeah. Number 3. Question number 3. I don't like vegetables. I'm not a big vegetable. I mean, I'll eat them. So I need somebody talk me into a vegetable that you enjoy eating and tell me how to do it.
Broccoli with cheese, cauliflower with cheese.
Do you eat it raw or is it
Steamed.
cooked? I mean, the broccoli. Is it broccoli?
And cauliflower.
I do
steamed,
broccoli
melted
raw.
Steam.
cheese.
See, cauliflower to me is
I'll eat cauliflower raw.
cauliflower to me
With
is
dip.
albino broccoli.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Way better than cauliflower.
it's like it's without melon. It's like it's
broccoli.
without melanoma or whatever that stuff is.
Chile relleno. Peppers. How can you not like peppers?
Stuffed
Is it
peppers.
Stuffed peppers.
is it stuffed with non?
It can be stuffed with
Beefy?
cheese. It can be stuffed with beef.
Okay.
I like to stuff mine with ground turkey and some cheese, and it's usually pretty good like that.
Okay.
Are
Okay.
you really
Wow.
wanting to be? You act like you're really wanting to be sold on vegetables right now. that
Yes,
you can
I
eat.
do. Because I need to. I need
portobello
to.
mushrooms.
Portobello
Yeah,
That's a
dude.
fungus, not a vegetable, but yeah.
Is it a fungus? Is that what it's
Mushrooms
close.
are fungi.
It
Close.
counts. It counts.
Yeah.
It's a non-beef product, I guess.
Guacamole should count.
I can't stand guacamole.
You can't.
It's a fruit.
When I had
tried.
Avocado is
I
a fruit.
tried.
Is it? I
Is
thought
it?
mildly,
There's a
didn't even
giant
know.
seed in the middle of it. Yes,
See,
it's
I would
fruit.
I would guess that it's a vegetable too because it's green and it's fairly gross. In my so
those are the two.
I can't.
fun
so
fact for me, when I was having it's a revealing story. When I was having some liver function issues,
Okay.
guacamole helped repair my liver, and I'm not kidding.
Okay.
It was the avocados.
Interesting.
And
I better start eating them then.
I went on a very structured diet that had lots of avocado in it,
Okay.
and I would freaking throw down some guacamole.
All right.
And
Michelle Wilkinson. Michelle is really into guacamole. I always kid around with her. So maybe she can talk me into something like.
people
like a
make
recipe.
guacamole different ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can't.
And
There's
Joe, have
different ways to
you
make
ever
it.
had salsa?
Yeah, but I'm talking like I should have been a little more.
Tomatoes and onions.
I'm
and
talking a little more
pepper,
specific. I'm talking like
cilantro.
talk me into eating friggin' kale.
Now-
Because that's gonna be a hell of a talk. Good luck.
How about asparagus? Steamed asparagus with a little butter on it. That's good.
Okay.
Now,
little butter.
Okay.
Spinach with pepper and honey. It's good.
All right.
Before I give you what the answer is, because I'll convert you.
Okay.
Now, you said your baseline for a vegetable is what? Green and tasteless, or green and terrible?
Green, just green.
No, you
Generally
said it was
green.
something earlier. You said
Probably said something else.
green and disgusting.
I've been drinking.
Yeah. So if it's green and disgusting, are we counting the Tampa Bay Rowdies jersey?
Yes. I can see it from here. I'm looking out right now, and I can see one of their jerseys lit from Tampa Bay, 1,000 miles. That was unbelievable.
Worse than
They're
Oregon.
terrible.
Yeah.
But so here's what it is.
Okay.
It's
That's head.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although it's not quite. Theirs was a little brighter.
Yeah.
A little lighter, yeah.
They what you need to do. We had it the other night, spaghetti squash. Okay.
Spaghetti squash.
Spaghetti squash. Okay.
What is that now?
So it's a squash that you can make into spaghetti.
No kidding.
So it's a.
It's really good.
So what you and it's incredibly easy. to
Okay.
make, too. So what you do is just cut it in half. Olive oil in the pan, or just put it in the oven 20-30 minutes, and you take a fork and you just scrape it out. Make some noodles.
Okay.
You take that, make it into pasta, cheese.
All right.
We made a mushroom pasta with it, which was mushrooms in there and cheese. Blam,
No
done.
kidding. All right. Because sometimes I tease vegetarians. I don't mean when I tease them. I'm not trying to be mean to them.
Okay.
I would never be mean like that.
It's a love tease.
It's a love tease.
I was a vegetarian for 2.5 years.
Okay. How'd that work out? Did it work out okay?
2.5 years.
No, it was fine for 2.5 years. And I started selling cars and, going in and having a vegetarian lunch all the time around a bunch of good old bros.
Right. Yeah,
You get called certain,
challenge.
you're just like, I don't want to hear it anymore. Fine, I'll have a cheeseburger. Shut up.
So one more, and then we're going to move on. One more. Finish the sentence. Ready? The new stadium better have blank. I mean, we know some of the things that it has, but go ahead. Anybody?
I'm ready.
Do it.
It better have a full supporter section of people who are ready to
Good
sing
for
it,
you. There you
sing
go.
And I
Excellent.
And sing and participate in some shape or form.
See, I'm going. It better have events outside of Louisville soccer
Yeah.
that are a lot of fun to go to. Concerts are a given, but there's so many other things that can happen in an arena like that. So I'm hoping they really think outside the box and do a bunch of things outside of that. But that's what I'm hoping that the new stadium has.
Like women's soccer would be cool.
Yeah, there you go.
My answer. Yeah.
Right, so better have NWSL. That's a good answer.
Yep.
Yeah, all the events they can make money on.
Right.
Facing the river, Thunder.
Yep.
Thunder.
Yeah.
I've never been to Thunder.
Never?
I've never been
What?
No. I've never been to Thunder. I've never been to Derby.
I canceled all Thunder plans about 12 years ago.
Really?
That has been a long
I had a
time.
really bad experience, so I don't go to
Okay,
Thunder
okay.
anymore.
But if you go on top of a building, that's a good experience.
All right.
I can tell somebody first. Get permission.
Right. they have parties.
We got
on
a
top.
Like don't stand on top of the police station.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You can't even see it from there. I work next door to there.
Terrible vantage point, really.
Right. I guess. What about
Mine. No, go ahead.
What do I want in a new stadium?
you? Yeah.
I mean, just to touch on what you said, I went when one of the Columbus Crew games that I went to that was really memorable was they played the Chicago Fire, and after the game, and this was like 10 o'clock at night, Flogging Molly came out and played a show there.
No kidding. Okay.
And I would love to see something like that. Like we have a game, and then afterwards,
A band
if you,
can-
like
that's an
say
outstanding idea.
If you're a season ticket holder, you get into the show for free.
Wow.
And bam, it's like Flogging Molly. Like I
Sure.
don't know what kind of music you're into, but like Dropkick Murphys, like that would be awesome.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
That would be a big ask financially for a band to come in here and do that. But I think
Get Niall up on stage and have him play.
right. Dropkick Murphy sounds like a good. It sounds like,
I got a few friends who would be here for that.
yeah, so.
You'd sell out a game instantly like that.
All right. Well, there you go. That was some questions. That's a get to know you segment, and we got to know each other better. You know that I'm friggin' not a big fan of vegetables, and Derek's dropping stuff. And I don't even know. You all right? Everything okay? Can we go on?
I did like a phone flick.
Okay. I want to ask you about the video thing that you asked some of us to be a part of. Can you tell us all about that, please?
Yeah. A couple years ago, I ran into an old friend of mine since high school, Michael Fitzer.
Right.
And we were talking. He had just gotten back from England doing a non-league documentary over there.
Right.
I hadn't seen him in a couple years. Louisville City. He's Scouse's house, which I didn't know at the time. So
Isn't that's the guy that I've been talking to you online about, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And great guy. And we just talked for a long time about soccer, Louisville City, all this stuff. He called me the next day. He's like, "Hey, let's do something on the supporter groups and the team, here.
Right.
I was like, yeah, man. So he owns 180 Degrees Film Company, which has done everything from commercials to feature films.
Right.
So he let me become part of it. I've been doing a lot of the grunt work production,
right.
Get things set up. He's the pro, does all the filming, and it's just been fantastic. So he's very busy. We've gone fast and slow. Right. He's got a lot of great material. Yeah. Interviewed you, Michael.
Real professional too, man.
Yeah, right.
I was blown away by his setup after working in television for a while and just his whole studio and everything. It was something to behold.
Yeah, he's top notch, and so we've got a lot of hours of stuff, and we're still going. Sunday we're going out to John's to film a tifo.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
no revealing it before it's deployed.
Yeah, I got no idea.
You know the rules.
I do know John said he's got a Louisville City basement, so I'm excited to see that.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I'm not sure on a lot of the details. We want to shoot. Michael wants to shoot the first game in the new stadium.
Right.
And he's shot a
I get
number of games.
goosebumps when somebody
Dude,
says
I do
that.
too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a religious experience.
Yeah. It's
An angle on the Butchertown end is like that too.
Do you know how many hours of footage maybe he has shot so far?
Oh, I actually asked him that question.
Yeah, I don't know. Exactly. It's dozens.
He has more B-roll footage than he can ever deal with.
Awesome.
Is what he said to me.
Okay.
So it's just been a lot of fun. I'm not sure how long it'll be, when it'll be finished, but it's been, for me, being able to be a part of it. It's just been fantastic. So.
Right, and I'm looking to if I can go to the game this Saturday. Trying to do a show. I'm going to try and grab just on a phone or whatever, make it real low budget, but just interview whoever is at the game,
Right.
and just say, tell us about your last 5 years at Slugger, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and try and put something together that we can put on our station. We do have YouTube. We still have the YouTube thing.
Interview somebody's grandma.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
There are some.
I would love to hear that.
Oh yeah.
There's some older folks in the supporter section, not right where the capo stand is, but if you were where Patrick sits, there's an older couple who is there every single game.
Right, and you know what? We're both a little bit older. I'm surprised at the amount of people in our sections that are not in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Seems like there's a lot of older folks.
Yeah, there is.
Certainly the drummer thing, we've got a couple people that are younger.
And
most of us are a little bit older.
50s, 60s. I've seen from what it looks like, people in their 70s.
Right.
There's some old guy named Greg that comes down and he drums with us sometimes.
Yeah, that Greg. What's his last name? The mayor dude.
Starts with
Was
an
it
F.
Greg Mayer?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in the Butchertown end until I
it is.
Right. Okay, Mike, you are the proprietor. I guess that's a good word for it, for a specific Twitter account.
Yes.
That I think is great. Tell us about it, please.
I really hope this is the end of Iron Man 1 for some people out there who are watching today. I am USL meme. No, I started that Twitter account. About maybe 2 years ago now. Every day that I get a new follower, and they're like, "Okay, what am I at now?" I'm like, why do this many people follow me? For my stupid jokes, it blows me. I try. So I created the Twitter account because I felt like there wasn't one. Essentially, that was the reason. You see so many people go back and forth, and I kind of wanted to have a hub of all that. So you could just come and, because there would be people I had tried to follow people from every different supporters group, and you wouldn't have people who would banter east and west together,
right.
But then you make one meme that makes fun of the Indy 11 field, and you get those guys who are all up in arms, and then you get people that show up from like Phoenix, and they're like, "Man, that is a piece of crap."
Right.
So it's really about uniting people.
Yes, it's
That's
about
all I
bringing
want to
people
do is
together.
bring people
Yes.
together.
It's the cycle
through
of
the
life.
art, through the art of insulting and teasing. I mean, I tried to put one recently. The Las Vegas Lights. The guy had they tweeted something out. It was this week, I think, where it was one of their players and it was a silhouette you couldn't tell, and it was like,
I like that
he
one.
said, who is this or something like that, and I put in, "Hi, I'm 15th place. Here I come," because just because their team is so bad. I mean, they do for a team that does so much from a PR perspective. And marketing perspective to be that bad again this year. But anyway, so what's the most responses you've gotten on
So my yearly playing with pride tweet is what gets it every year.
Okay.
I say that I will give a dime for every like that a tweet gets.
Okay.
This year it was I think the donation amount was $150 last year.
All right.
Last year was about I was worried at the beginning. I was worried where it was going. I think it ended up being like 230.
Wow,
the
that's
year
pretty cool.
before. So try to do that for something good, But as the memes go, it's all over the place. I mean, the worst part about that I find is the things that I find hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I'm like, oh, this is so witty, this is so funny. 6 likes.
Right.
I'm like,
that happens.
You guys are not respecting me for my craft and my art. But meanwhile, I'm like, here's a picture with SpongeBob. The referees are bad, and people are like, like, gosh, dude, it's like lowest common denominator sometimes.
You got some mileage out of the Phoenix beer thing, didn't you?
Oh, geez, yeah. So that came back to bite me hard.
Okay.
So the Phoenix, they had the beer thing.
Right.
I had one of my favorite ones, which is one that didn't get likes at all, was they put up their player of the game. They put a picture of him. And now in Phoenix, I don't know why, but they shot the dad who threw the beer can. They put the camera right on him. I gotta.
Really?
Oh, I thought you meant they drug him out back and shot him.
No, God,
They shot him.
like somebody in the
Put him out of
production-
his misery.
Somebody
Phoenix.
in the production truck was like, "Get the sad beer dad. Get sad beer dad." So I took a picture of him and made him the player of the week. That didn't get any likes, but the thing that did is since you I don't know if you guys listen to podcasts, but there's one natural male enhancement product they always put out there. It's called Roman, and it's
that what?
it helps you prolong experiences.
Do the business.
Yeah.
I have no need for that. Let's continue,
And the man.
please.
So I put it out there and I said new
Hashtag no problem there.
ladies. So I put it out there saying that they had Phoenix and Roman had a partnership now.
Okay.
Because Phoenix was having problem going the full 90 because their game was abandoned.
That's nice. That is nice.
But then we flash forward. I'm not even drinking.
Flash forward?
Flash forward to the Tampa game,
Okay.
and Wyatt Weeks tweets out that somebody has thrown a beer can from the stands onto our field.
Right.
I got so many notifications from Phoenix fans. Where's your memes about the beer can? Where's your memes about the beer can? I was like, guys, I learned this 6 minutes ago, and you're blowing up my notifications. Fine, here.
I'll tell you, for 5 years, one beer can and one hot dog, not bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, there's been more than one beer. I can tell you from being on the stands.
Okay.
The night of the Orlando game, 2016.
Or the refs stole it,
The
basically.
refs stole it.
Right.
Oh, they got pegged with a water
They
bottle.
got pegged with a
Did
water
they really?
bottle.
I don't remember that.
Some other
That's
photographer,
good.
now a
Probably drunk.
photographer who will remain nameless,
Mm-hmm.
cop to throwing a beer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't even want to know now.
No, I don't either.
Aaron, do you remember when there was no social media?
I do.
Wasn't it much
Very
much
well.
more glorious time?
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if social media has made this better or worse. What do you think?
Like what exactly?
Well, in the sense that social media, when it comes to soccer and sporting events, people can find out information about the team. Obviously, that's the easiest way to do it now.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to filter through the noise. And the noise that I'm talking about are people that just all they can do is be negative about stuff. And then you get the hot takes on everybody. All of a sudden you get in people that are arguing with each other that have never met about anything. And I've done it before, so I'm not saying I was above it. I've walked away from all of that nonsense. But, I mean...
I don't really even care about that.
Okay.
I think it's ridiculous when people argue about anything online. I think soccer's the same as anything else. I like to get on there and banter.
Sure.
And be as nasty and at the same time witty as I can be.
Right.
People. I know Michael gets it. I'm not on the Twitter, but I wish I was for that. But I remember
that is a good one.
I miss Cincinnati. I hate Cincinnati, but I miss them because of the guys that were on there and on USL fans. It was fun.
Okay.
Okay. And I love that stuff. People get on there and argue about, or even discuss, and have an opinion about all the minutia. Right. I don't care. I just like to get on there and
it's fun.
Have piss off a opposing fan and have them do the same to me.
Right, and it's
like certain people that are scared of clowns.
Which was that?
Dan.
Oh, Dan. Yeah. No, I've actually met some great people through banter.
Right. No, well, there's banter.
Right,
there's two different. There's two different types.
Yeah. In other countries, it's some of the Derby County, Forest, Leicester banter groups I'm on.
Right.
It's still banter too, but it's a little more real.
Okay.
I more follow that than get involved, but here it's just totally fun, and even if it's fun to tell someone to blank off and have them do it back to you because it's about the team. So.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the topic and what's being said.
Sure.
If other things are brought into it that have nothing to do with who's winning,
that's what I check out.
The team, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me at all. So.
I can't. There's no way to tell you how much I don't care about your opinion about how I live my life. That kind of stuff. It's like people need to jump in and stuff like that. Just craziness. Anyway, but I've always. I guess it's a good thing. I'm on it. I mean, I'm on there all the time. I have to be. But the experience of being on and you jumping in. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if it wasn't for soccer and the ease of Messenger for some other stuff, I would not be on Facebook.
Right.
But I'm addicted to soccer on Facebook.
Okay.
So that's the reason I love it. But I miss the old days when out in the 80s, you walked out of the house and you were gone.
Hear that?
Yeah.
There's
there's
a little different.
no communication unless
It's a little different these days. So what do we expect in the future? Is there what's USL memes 2.0 going to look like?
2.0. There's only
take it to the next level.
There's only so many pictures I can put words on.
I hear you.
They
sure, with that attitude.
Yeah, I know. My doctor says I really need to apply myself.
Right.
No, but something that it's not. Sometimes it's not just about the jokes. It's not about things like that. There's an issue right now in Fresno. I'm not sure if you're aware.
Yes.
So they're trying to move the team.
Yeah.
And I make a simple picture, playing off Save Ferris, put it on a water tower, Save Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
We need to. I find that some people are disseminating information about some of these things,
right,
and trying to, tell people like, look, I mean, we got to do something. Like in Fresno right now, I couldn't imagine if someone's trying to pull my team away from me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just
been through it. We lost the Cosmos in '81. That was brutal. I was a kid. I was in high school. And
I have something to say about the Cosmos, but
do it.
It's heavy profanity. I think where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
But
I hope you get to use the flamingos I sent you a few months ago.
Yes.
For Forward Madison. You remember that picture?
Forward Madison. Yes, I do remember.
They are wound up. Their media folks are great.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're absolutely great. I've never seen somebody join the Twitter sphere and just get it.
Yeah.
They joined soccer Twitter and overnight they were like, yeah, no, we know what to do.
They went flamingo.
They did. Yeah. I've actually they had a contest where they were asking for ideas for theme nights, and I gave them 80s pro wrestling night. And
right.
So they gave me they.
Oh man, I would so go to that.
Yeah, they had Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Show up to sign autographs.
That's amazing.
In the history of time, let the record show that I got Hacksaw Jim Duggan a booking. So
all right.
they They get it. It's funny though. I've made friends with clubs. The other day, Phoenix Rising sent out a tweet to somebody, a response to somebody, and tagged me. And it's like, I didn't know USL Memes took over this account.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is a team that has the highest or the most win records in the modern era of soccer in the United States. And they're casually just tweeting and tagging me in it, and just to somebody they're just chatting with.
That's what I'm saying.
Funny.
It's become its own entity, and it's pretty funny. I mean, I always read them and funny.
The worst. It has its dark days though.
No,
You gotta
we all.
you gotta go after your own team sometimes.
No kidding. And that's why you're leading me into exactly what I want to talk about, and that is we had this horrible loss last week, and I just call it a loss.
Tie.
It was a draw, and
That's a loss.
and
Feels like it.
I mentioned it when we started this thing. There's a fine line between criticizing the team and how you criticize the team, right? I find it difficult. I personally find it difficult because it's hard to criticize these guys. But when you lose like that, a game like that, even though it's anybody's individual fault against a good team, it's just like, ugh. So, what do you think?
Well, it is hard. People do stuff. You do something wrong, you do something wrong.
Right.
But I'm not out there on the field playing.
Right, exactly.
So I think that tie involved a little bit of tiredness.
Sure.
A little bit of miscommunication.
Right.
Of what end of the field to be on.
Yeah.
But I love them all.
Sure.
Even if they never won a game, I'd be at every game.
Right.
So, in one hand, it's there's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, they pretty much look like they should have done this instead of that. But
Right.
but there's really no point. When it comes down to it, I don't care what the formation is. I'm not the ones making the decision.
Right, exactly.
The ones out there performing. So I don't know. It's easy to get mad.
Yeah.
But I don't even like to dissect it. And to me, just like Saturday, I mean, it was in my opinion, a mistake being tired, and then just maybe a little more tiredness after that. Just a little wanting to get it over with and not being on the right side of the field.
Right.
This is where there has to be somebody on that team, and I don't want to name anybody by name or anything because I don't know.
Right.
But there's somebody back in that locker room that came out of that game and went back to the locker room and said, "Look, guys, we've won 2 championships. We had a shit game. We tied when we shouldn't have. Whatever." Somebody went back there and said that, and then they said, "We're going to be fine."
Okay.
And I hope that the guys relaxed,
Yeah.
and they said, "You know what? You're right. Let's go into our next game. Let's get a positive result." That's happening, and of course we, as fans, Louisville City fans who have been spoiled for the last 4 years, to be completely frank.
Wonderfully, gloriously spoiled.
We freak out, and we're like, "Oh God! How can you drop a game like that? Or how can you let a game go like that?" But there's always players on a team, especially this team, and you can tell because of the culture. Somebody went back there and said that, and I guarantee you, the guys were like, "You know what? You're right," and that's the kind of culture that we have back there. You can tell.
Yeah, and you can tell they're always.
Yeah.
They're always. You can see that they're pissed or upset with themselves.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love every single guy on the team. Actually, the ones I bitch at the most during the games are the ones I like the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Just because. That's why I'm wearing this. This is a
Sean
Tosh's
Kid.
football jersey. This has a good record. This jersey.
Yeah.
But I bitch at him during the games more than most because I like him.
Yeah.
And he's a badass, and
He's from North Dakota.
I watch it. I see every second, so I see
The Badlands.
I see.
I wonder if he wears number 4 because he's a Brett Favre fan. We gotta ask him that.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
I saw some negativity online after that game.
I stayed off.
But no, I saw something positive in the negativity though.
Okay.
I saw a guy comment on the Facebook page or not the Facebook page, apologize, on the Twitter, and he said, "First Louisville City game I ever went to, not coming back after that." And the Louisville City faithful tore him to shreds. Good, don't want you. 5 years we've been here, and this is the first game. Great, don't show up.
All right.
If you're going to,
Yeah. That's.
I'm going to play
Come
devil's
on.
advocate on that. I'm going to play devil's advocate on that and say, I'm not going to disagree. I'm not disagreeing. What I'm going to say is, if He's one. If he look, I walked out of that stadium as angry as I've ever been
Yeah.
at a sporting event, ever, because I was just so bummed for them.
Right.
But it was for them, not at them, right? And if I'm one of those guys that's never been to a game before, and that happens the first time you've been there, you may be, spouting out of your mouth and responding on Twitter, doing, the Twitter thing, the social media thing. And then you wake up the next morning, you're like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Sure.
So, because I've never had an experience like that ever in my life where I've tweeted drunk. I've never done that before. So, but I'm not disagreeing with you. It's like, dude, really? 5 years of success. And, you come to one game where that happens. I don't know. Have we ever? No, Orlando might have been the one game where we were up by 2 and eventually lost or draw. I don't remember.
Orlando.
Birmingham, the replay this year. That was a late loss.
God, that next morning when it was 10 degrees.
It was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
45 and sunny.
Gosh, I just got out of the hospital.
Dumping bourbon into coffee to get.
That was a
going.
Sunday morning game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had just gotten out of the hospital. I was like, I can't sit home. I got to go try and go check this out.
I had tickets
man,
to a play at 10 a.m. that
Did
I
you?
was not allowed to miss.
Yeah.
I think it's fine to bitch at the players because I love them.
Right.
And I love the team, so I wouldn't care if we lost every game. And I get over it quickly, but and I'm not out there doing it, so I'm not complaining in that way.
Right.
But somebody does something wrong, you go, "Ugh," but then they do something right. It's a good release for me, but I'm not going to ignore when something's wrong.
Sure.
But it really doesn't matter. We could go 0-36, and
But we gotta look.
I'd still love them. So.
Yeah.
We gotta look at the positives of that game, though. We
Yeah,
got
there were
that.
plenty of them.
Got the point.
Mm-hmm.
Clinched a playoff position. And who is more dangerous in the playoffs, statistically speaking, than us?
Right. If we can dominate them for 85 minutes, we can dominate them for 90.
It's a fluke game, man.
Yeah.
It
It took a few days.
It's soccer.
I'm still pissed.
Yeah, Lucky's that cross and Lucky's header was quality.
Yeah, it was an amazing goal.
It's great to see. Luke, that second goal, it was Napo's playing great, and that was all Luke.
Yeah.
On that second goal, getting to Napo. So.
30 seconds each on the new stadium. Anything?
I'll go. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see the Butchertown impact.
Yeah.
All bouncing in unison. We should do the Derby bounce. If you haven't seen it, you need to pull up the video of the Derby bounce.
Well, Derek's been talking about a Butchertown.
We're working on
bounce.
a little something.
Yeah, we are. Hopefully we could do something
should compare
original.
notes.
I'm just hoping whatever we do, it's our own. I really am not interested in regurgitating somebody else's
It's
stuff.
very important that it's different.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like whatever it is. There may be an aspect of that's good that we
It's
can
just
utilize.
It's bounce.
Right. But I'm so hooked on being original since day one. Let's do our own thing. We have our own chants. We have our own cadences. I really want us to be our own, as opposed to like the doing like Duke does a bouncing thing, their basketball team.
Right,
so
right.
we do the bouncing thing, like and we could do that. I'm not. It's not that I'm not going to not do that. Or somebody like we were kidding around about the whole drum. What's that called? The thundery thing. What's that
The
called?
Viking
The
clap?
Viking clap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody does.
They did that in Pittsburgh, and I thought of you, and I
Right.
just was like, oh.
But I'll tell you what, I've said this. I despise it. I can't tell you how much I despise it. But if we do it, I'll do it with more enthusiasm than anybody else in the building, because it's about being a supporter of the team. And if everybody else is doing, who the hell am I? Especially the thing that I've been doing. Who the hell am I to like not do it? I mean, that's now I'm just thinking about myself. That's crap.
There's so many
But let's all
deviations.
agree to not do that.
Yeah.
There's so many deviations you can do on a clap chant like
Yeah.
that, where you don't have to do it identically.
Mhm.
Just like you said, it's important to have your own thing.
Right. I'm
As
really
long as if it's packed.
right.
I mean, just our city clap.
Right. And with the new
If there's
stadium,
2,000 people doing that,
with the new stadium,
Awesome.
the acoustics, you're going to hear it. Like when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
over at Scouse's house and the drums do it, there could be 10 drummers. Even if there's not a lot of cheering, you're leaning in to hear it. In that stadium,
yeah, it's gonna be
forget
nice.
about it. It's going to be so friggin' loud. All right, so let's move on to a couple things. Unless you guys have something else that you want to talk about.
Just to kind of piggyback on
Do it.
what you were talking about.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, we could do that, but wouldn't you rather do our original stuff? Like, who the hell does Wipeout besides us?
Exactly. That wipeout thing's fun.
Yeah.
Especially
I
when you
love it.
speed it up.
Yeah. Oh, with that second gear now, the new gear, people like that.
Yeah.
I can't because we were doing it so slow
I
the
don't think
last
Patrick
time.
and Herman like that.
Well,
My elbows don't like that.
Patrick gives me a look every now
just
and again when you
sway
say
from
wipe,
right
and he
now,
goes,
so.
I go home with tremors after that.
hey man, get the crowd gets wound up. It's all about getting the supporters wound up.
you know, and
You can wind them up in fourth gear, or you can wind them up in fifth.
You know, there's some things that there's like little things that you add to that kind of makes it around. You know, you start wearing purple, the dramatic pause when you added that, and it gets me every time. I know it's coming. I know it, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I'm like, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Laugh. Die right now.
I always try to come up with something that's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's good.
But all right, so let's talk a little bit about two things that I wanted to bring up. Now, we usually call this the rim shot section. So if there's anything that you guys want to discuss before, I mean, I'll give you guys a chance to do a little bit more. But wanted to talk about two things that have come up. I don't know if you noticed, but there's last week in California, they came up with a new law that was signed into law where college athletes can now make money off of their images. Okay, this is a brand new law, supersedes anything that the NCAA has done. Now, drawing a very long line to this, I mean, there's a lot of impact in a lot of different sports. Soccer, we have this university system, right? And you want to get kids. There's a battle going on between the university system and the academy system, and how to get kids. Jurgen Klinsmann was talking about this on an interview recently. 22 years old, now you're going to start playing pro soccer? I mean, in Europe and everywhere else, you're playing at 16.
You're an ancient.
So you're done.
player.
I mean, you're already done. So, but MLS has this super draft and has this thing that they're doing. When you have a college soccer player that has the money, and as college soccer grows, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to try. You're going to go to the school that pays you, as opposed to the school that doesn't. You know, California's going to start getting more players because you can go to California and make $5,000 off of a picture. $5,000 to a college kid's a lot of money. I mean, what do you think that does? Does that do? And am I overreaching when I say that this may have an impact on college and what we do here? Is that?
No.
Am I? Or is it? I mean, am I reaching?
You're not.
I think eventually there is an impact, and I think that the more, if you can make money playing university soccer, you're going to be less compelled to go to an academy where you're not going to make anything, and maybe if you're lucky, you might get a shot at playing in lower division soccer. How many of these guys come out that eventually play on the big teams? 5%. Honestly, so
Yeah.
what do you think about that? I wanted to bring that up.
I think we'll see what happens. I think it's going to have a massive impact. First, the California law I know is 23 other states, or somewhere around there, are already instantly looking at their own.
Of course
their
they
own
have
systems. Or not everybody's going to go play in California.
Yeah, think about. I mean, interrupt you, but
That's what I thought. Like almost
The
instantly,
hard
I was
thing
like,
there-
Whoa, I want to.
So think about that. Think about it. You play in U of L. U of L has arguably the biggest college basketball program in the country. Are you going to go play for UCLA where you can make X amount of money? And you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just going to grow. It's going to grow more because California's going to turn around and say we're going to give the kids this amount of rights that'll equal $5,000. And then Indiana's going to go, we're going to give them $20,000, and then Florida's going to be like, no, $30,000. It's going to keep going. All of a sudden, you're going to have a
Forget
big.
that. Wait till Nike and Adidas get in.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's scary. Blowing up the NCAA does not bother me one bit.
Right.
But the impact of specifically, to reel it back a little bit, the impact on soccer in the United States, the university thing versus the academy thing. If you 16, 17 years old, you can go to UCLA and go get paid, as opposed to going to see Dallas's academy and not get paid. I would think that's going to have an impact. I don't know.
It does.
Or have the ability to go to at Dallas's academy and get paid in 6 months or a year.
Right.
But I think I think it's worrisome. I don't care either if the NCAA totally changes or gets blown up. But how do you the whole thing with paying college athletes? I know there's an issue with the likeness or their number.
Right.
But in general, it was college athletes being able to have some money.
Exactly.
So not a lot of money, but I don't know what the solution is, but it's going to screw things up.
Big.
And
I think.
one thing I thought of is, which I don't know if it would help either, but if the NCAA is going to stay around, it's not about the best athlete, because then who's gonna block? If you got an offensive lineman not getting paid and you got
That's right.
quarterback getting paid, who's going to block for him? So
Exactly.
maybe there's a percentage where the NCAA can give up some of their money in a percentage that can evenly be spread to all athletes.
What is this give up some of their money you speak of?
Yeah.
Somebody
I
in
don't
the
understand.
NCAA
There's-
just had a shiver roll down their spine.
Yeah,
like,
really.
ugh, some executive
this-
just woke up like I had a
You know,
terrible nightmare.
It's
You're going to have certain teams. You're just not going to have. I don't see how you have a team where some people are paid and some people aren't.
you
Because
can't.
if you're getting paid for your talent, like a professional, you get paid different amounts because of how good you are.
And ostensibly, it becomes like cities like Lincoln, Nebraska. Nebraska football is life.
Yeah.
It's life to those people. I mean, I know plenty of people that live out there. Norman, Oklahoma, same deal. I know plenty of people that live by that university. It is life. It's what we feel about Louisville City. That's what what it is. And now you're going to have to pay for athletes. You know, these boosters already are animals. I mean, they're horrible. Not going to say they're horrible people. That's not. But you know, the rules that they break to make sure that these kids get here, they're just going to amplify it 50 times now. You know, and now all these schools are going to have to pay. You're literally going to be paying tens of millions of dollars for athletes. Where's that money? Where's that coming from? Of course, the students are going to. They're going to be raising the damn tuitions on these guys too. I think. Derek, what do you think?
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
I don't.
That's
I don't
pretty
see
much
how
it,
the NCAA
As I-
can exist in the big sports anymore.
Yeah, I don't see. I think it's done. I think the NCAA is
I mean,
It's a big
as
commercial
I
thing.
understand it, under this law, the colleges still can't pay them. It's they can license their likeness to like video games, to like
It's going to
advertising
start
and
with
such.
that.
Right.
It's going to
So it's
start
gonna-
with that. And you're right. It should have been a little more
And
clear
the
with
shoe
that.
companies, the endorsements, that's where the money's going to all come
Right.
from anyway, it won't be from the
You know,
There's no
universities.
point for
Yep.
We'll see.
But to take the other side with the academy system, there's something that, like, maybe I just romanticize it, the idea, but having somebody who started with your academy, who played on like your 13-year-olds teams, and then
Sure.
moved all the way up
Absolutely.
to the first team.
Absolutely.
I don't know what that is, but when we get that system here, and we have our, I know it's starting in progress, but when one of those kids, starts on the first team, and eventually they make the game-winning goal, like that's gonna just like
Absolutely.
that's the story. Where's
That's
the
a
heart?
story. Exactly.
I mean,
That's the heart of the soul. That's the heart and soul of a big part of soccer overseas.
I don't think the academy's system will go anywhere for this reason, is that college, 17, 18 is when you go to college.
Right.
Academy system gives you the opportunity at 16, 17, 18, 19 to go pro
Right.
at some level. And if there's a pro team, say second division, that takes an 18-year-old from our academy, pays them $40,000.
Right.
College, they're going to see the comparisons. So
Right, of course.
College, they're college. They're not going to pay more,
Right.
at least I would say.
Right.
So academy's not going anywhere.
No, it's not. It's not. It's just. It adds another layer to this freaking mess that we have
Messes
here.
it
It's
all
just,
up. And college athlete, the main problem, traditionally, it's not the biggest money. The main problem is they don't work. They don't work. They're athletes.
Yeah.
So they need a couple grand a month.
Absolutely.
Not $5 million.
Well, that was pretty cool.
Oh.
I like talking about that. Second thing.
$5,000. You're talking about getting paid $5,000. Do you know how much Natty Daddy I could have bought in college for $5,000? How much party favors and cheap beer?
Yeah.
Oof.
So you got this. You also have a tournament about to start. I think it started. Something called the CONCACAF Nations League.
I don't know what this is.
We're in
CONCACAF,
the United
so it's
States.
really weird.
The United States men's national team is in a tournament called the CONCACAF Nations League,
It's like
and
college
apparently
yesterday.
we're playing in the first rounds. We're playing Cuba and Canada, and this is going to make us much better. It's really going to improve the wonderful. I think it's going to help us so much as opposed to playing friendlies against, say, Brazil.
Yeah, I'm sure Bradley and Altidore will have a great time.
Great time though. That big late goal from Altidore to beat Cuba.
I'm sorry. That really.
That's going to be an amazing, and I can't wait for all the scarves to go flying in the air.
Yep.
Look at us, we beat Cuba.
We did it.
I haven't spoken to you guys ever about the national team. I have some very strong. What do you tell me about your personal opinions? One way or the other. It doesn't. Whatever it is, plus, minus, whatever. Men's national team.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love the men's national team.
So do I. Right.
We've got 30 million people here. We should be top 10 all
After
the time.
25 years.
There's
Of,
gotta
So I don't know what the problem is. Maybe it's our system.
yeah, there's a
We
lot.
don't have a proper academy system. We don't have
Say the
some
magic
other-
word.
Yeah, promotion,
Say it.
relegation.
Okay, there you go.
I think we have great players, and I get excited when I saw these young
We had
guys
a
come
great
up
crop
last
of
year.
very young players.
Yeah.
We really do. Ramos did a really good job with the U team and his U20 team.
I don't know
And
what the problem is.
but it's just there's a lot. It's so long to. I have a lot of opinions about. But what do you think?
I think that it needs a lot of work. I don't think we're going to be good for quite some time.
Neither do I.
But here's the thing: is I'm seeing these kids nowadays. My nephew's 10 years old. His mother will not let him play football. Will not let him
Right.
play tackle football. His friends are not allowed to play tackle football. We put our top athletes in this country into basketball and football, not so much baseball anymore.
No.
But that's where we're putting our, these people who are just natural athletes. They're just born. Like LeBron James, it could play professional sports.
You
in
can
anything.
play professional anything.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't matter. You just see the type of person you're like, that's an athlete. Don't care what they play, they'd be great at it. So when I think God, it's going to sound 15, 20 years, because football and stuff's going to fade out, because it's too dangerous for kids, they say. I think they're
Okay.
seeing less parents play.
Let's get but there's always going to be. I agree with you. There's definitely going to be a shift. There's always going to be that kid from a less fortunate situation
Sure.
who's going to contact sports. Kids like contact sports. I mean, there's a certain mentality,
Violent little
and
things.
I don't see like we're talking about those college teams. I don't see Norman. I don't see Oklahoma ever not having
Hot
75,000 people, or even Nebraska when they were going through all their problems, where they didn't fill that stadium up. My thing with the national team is we've created this thing where the academies, these kids get to a certain level and they leave. They go to Europe, and then they go to Europe, and then we don't select them for our national team because they're not in MLS. And it's weird. It's just this weird thing.
Do you blame them, though?
No.
I mean, look, if somebody told me that my job that I do, someone told me, hey, you move overseas, we're going to pay you 6 times as much. You're going to be a freaking rock star over here.
Right.
Great. I'll see you
See you
Tuesday.
later.
We don't pay them enough. The top tier system here is so convoluted in this country with no probation.
Tam, Gam,
How can you
Slam,
call it a top tier system?
Oh,
Bam,
the top of the tier, there's no
Wham,
tier.
Fram.
Right. I know. It's programmed because that's the way they want you to talk about it. But you're talking about the TAM and the GAM. The Minnesota United they sent out a tweet, and it is one of my favorite tweets. They said, "We traded the LA Galaxy GAM for TAM.
Yeah, and I had.
We're not sure why."
Right.
And they literally wrote that in a tweet and sent it out to the world.
I have a buddy that I talked to from Leicester. He's a Leicester City fan from Europe.
Yeah.
And he messaged me and he's like, "What is this?" And I was like, "I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know what this is. We're trading TAM for GAM and whatever. I don't know." But I just wanted to get your impressions on that. So we're winding up. I always let everybody take a few seconds to discuss whatever they want. So Aaron, if you'd like to, feel free to grab an open mic for a few seconds and
Thanks
anything.
for having me on.
Thanks for being on it, man.
Yeah.
And keep a close watch for the documentary.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't know when, but as I said, we're going to try and do the last thing. Will be the first game next year in April.
Right.
Real excited.
Yeah. Other than that, City Till I Die.
Hear that,
I can't wait for the Butchertown end.
Yeah.
Want to expand on my tattoo. So.
Ah,
Yep.
And that's it.
cool, man. Thanks for coming. Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
Michael.
I think it comes from this comes from a place of seeing the people I deal with online. People need to understand banter. I think
Yeah.
some people just I can't imagine what it would be like to be one of those people who takes absolutely everything personally. If I say something bad about your team, the playing surface
It
that your
becomes
team
very
plays
personal
on,
to people.
jeez, like
Lighten up.
I just lighten up. It's fun. Like I get into it with people about the football lines on their field, and they're like, "Oh, it's so much better. Your field's a piece of crap." I'm like, yeah, I'm aware my field's
Right,
a
right.
piece of crap, but they just
See you next year.
yeah, no, but people and people don't take things too personally.
Right, right.
It's all fun. It's soccer. Hate each other for 90 minutes, but I love those people in Cincinnati for 90 minutes. But some of the best times I've ever had playing
I've
soccer.
met plenty of folks over there.
Oh, man,
They're fine.
I met one of my best friends He's a Cincinnati. He's a capo for the Pride.
Right.
And we compare notes and share things on being capos, and he's a really good friend. And I met him through bantering, and we always joke about. He says, the first few weeks, he goes, I hated you. I hated you.
Right.
And it's just like I eventually just realized it's just the internet. You give each other crap.
Right. I think some people, they just take the sports thing, they personalize it so much for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason. I'm not a psych.
Especially with
I'm a
banter,
psych.
you should just say, I just usually say, just tell me to blank off and let's
Right.
keep bantering.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Cincinnati fans literally give us crap one time.
That's
we,
weak.
then we gave it right back.
Gave it right back.
Yeah.
That's weak banter. And the other weak banter, just to get on my soapbox just for a second, this whole banter idea that's like, oh, we're living in your head rent free. Dude, this is soccer Twitter. You're telling me I shouldn't be thinking about soccer? Why am I on this website then?
Right.
Like, people in Phoenix, all you do is think about us. Dude, that's where the stories are coming from. Like, you threw a beer can at somebody and the game got canceled. That's hilarious. Dangerous, but hilarious.
Right.
First of all we do is win championships.
Woo!
Yeah.
Preach.
You remember the one guy in Cincinnati that he I think he's like he does a podcast or something up there. I can't remember what his name is. But you remember when we went down there and we played in that monsoon?
Yes.
Well,
Somebody got mad, exactly.
He got online and he said, "Man, these guys are crazy. Oh, they're so ultra. They played in a lightning storm." I'm like, at what point did you see lightning?
And I was there, and I remember doing that. And the whole thing was, I would never endanger myself or anybody else.
Right.
No.
Like,
And I have it, still have it. I have a lightning app, a weather app on my phone. I'm watching it. Like, all right, it's raining. There's no
So are
lightning.
they.
Screw this. I'm
Teams
going down
watching
and beating the hell out of drums. Who wants to come with me? And it was fun. That's one of those moments that I'm hoping. And I'm going to reiterate that we're going to be doing some interviews for everybody if I can get to this game Saturday while we're at St. Louis. And get your favorite moments at Slugger, because that's mine. That one is my favorite moment.
it was pretty sweet.
A non-competitive moment, because everybody's going to say winning the championship. Everybody's going to say the shootout.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are guarantees. But I'm talking about moments that have nothing to do with competition. So
That was so fun.
that was a lot of fun. It really was.
Dude,
Matt,
they made a meme. They did someone in Cincinnati, and they put the little when the field was flooded, and they put the Swamp People logo from that show.
Right.
So good.
Funny.
That was pretty funny.
It's
oh,
so
they have
good.
a lot of good ones. I just think that people get jealous. If they here's the thing, I would have done that. I don't care what the situation was. I don't care what the score was, what the impact was. I was going to go do that. Now those folks up there, I guarantee you, there were people that would like, will this help us get in MLS? Oh, let's go do it. Will this keep us out of MLS? Oh, let's not go down there. The mentality of needing to be in a league or something, whatever, it impacts. And there's people here. I'm not just talking about those guys. There's people here that are wrapped up in all of that nonsense too. But Derrick, what do you want to say?
We had quite the motley crew down there, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
All the people that you really wanted to have down there were.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It was great.
It was a good time.
It was pretty crazy.
Somebody actually sent me a picture from that game today, and it was a Cincinnati photographer got this absolutely just picture of me where I got the maddest face that I think I've ever made. I'm like, oh man, I look really pissed. But like, he got a picture of me after they had scored that goal, and it brought back those memories of that game. And I'm looking at myself, and I'm like, I'm already soaking wet in this picture. Like, I can just see that I'm sopping wet in this picture. It's like the 13th minute.
I can't explain that Birmingham game. It was Birmingham. We got rained out, right?
Mhm.
I was
Right.
so cold that I was like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I went up into a stairwell with Ken Luther and Rebecca and just stood there, and I was like, I couldn't move.
I guess
I'm like,
I just
I've
died.
never been this
My
cold.
wrists,
Yeah,
my wrists were numb for like 2.5 hours.
I was drenched
After
in
that.
water and just like, I was dead. I was done. I wanted to go home.
Wasn't that Bohemian Rhapsody night? Or was that
The second one, I wasn't. I was still in the hospital when you had the second one.
Which
Birmingham or
the
Cincinnati?
rainout game was. God, I think
Yeah,
it
it was
must
Birmingham.
have been the Birmingham game, because the Birmingham game, God, we sat out there for.
It was. I was like I said. The
was-
night that
that was-
happened was
that
the
was
night that I
cool.
got out of the hospital.
Yeah.
So that's why. And then they played the next day.
The next
No,
morning.
No, the next
10:30,
morning,
10 in
right.
the morning.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got home late from that game. She goes, "The game go late?" And I go, "We didn't even play the game. What have you been doing?" Yelling in the rain for the last 2 hours. Why? Like, just go dry off. I'm coming to bed.
I had like an inch of water in my drum that
Did
game.
you really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, those when
Those
you
picks
hit,
were- those picks were cool.
so good, so good.
Matt, you want to add anything to the end of this?
Dad's in the hospital, just got ankle surgery,
right.
so get well, Dad.
Outstanding. This has been great. I'm glad. I hope you guys had a good time.
Hell yeah, man! It's a great time.
I'm looking forward to seeing that video. I think he's really putting a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping we can start doing things, nothing like that, but I want to do whatever we can to get as many people exposed and as many people involved, and sharing their opinions with everybody else as much. That's part of why I want to do this. It's a community thing. I mean, we can get players on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, and it's great that like Luke being on. And I know the Barrel Proof has had a bunch of players. It's great. It's great that. But I really want this to be about us and about the supporters. And so I want to thank you both for coming on. Derrick, thank you so much for setting up this Twitch deal.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Twitch,
Yes, please. Let's
if
do that.
you're in the chat right now, we have a pretty substantial
Nice.
amount of people in the chat. If you have not hit the follow button yet, please do. Like we
What's
actually.
your name up here?
I know. Yeah. I normally don't. I don't want to be like, oh my God, please hit follow. But like this tonight, especially tonight, like we would really love your follow because it's helping us become affiliates.
Right.
We want to have all of that interactivity, and we want to expand this podcast, and we want to do different things, and it really helps if you hit the follow button. So we appreciate it.
I think you still owe me a body roll.
Yes, you know what?
I'm not forgetting.
Wait a
that.
second. Wait a second.
Oh,
There it is.
And folks, if you want to see more of that, all you gotta do is smash that follow
Smash
button.
that follow button. You get more Derrick body. Roll.
Hit that follow button, and sooner or later it'll be a subscribe button, and that's what we really want.
That is. So, want to thank you all for joining us. We will be on in 2 weeks. We have a ton of guests lined up. Don't want to reveal yet. We want to make sure that we have everything lined up. Also, we talked about November 17th for anybody that's doing the Harbor House mini marathon. We will be getting together with our race ambassador, Mr. McLean. Also, January 18th, please put that in your book. That is also going to be at Harbor House. It's going to be a big event, vodcast. What am I missing? Am I missing anything?
Special episode with every former player named Sean. Oh wait, no.
No, wait, right. And we are going to be putting, like I said,
former and current. It'd be 4.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and
It's a good piece of
if I can get on this trip this week in St. Louis. Really want to make sure that I get to talk to as many people as I can, get some videos together so we can add them and put something together about our experiences at Slugger, because we've got one game left, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe at the very most. Well, you can't say
One regular
very
season game left.
One regular season game left. We may get it. Who knows what's going to happen? We're only like 4 points behind fourth, I think. So you never know. 4 points behind with 4 games left. Anything can happen. 2 big games, St. Louis and Nashville. 6 points in those 2 games would be pretty amazing. Would vault us pretty good, I think.
Hell yeah.
So
I'd love to get 5th.
yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
The way Indy's going.
Oh, dude, the way Indy.
They're in 5th now.
Is it? I know it's
They
like
can't-
statistically possible, but can they just bottom out completely?
Away
I don't
it,
think they
man.
quite can.
Yeah. But everybody, thank you so much. Thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Kisses.
Kisses and love.
All right.